All right, Trips. Scorpio's ready, and so am I. So tonight we're going to be talking Predator, and tonight I'm joined by Sean. How are you?
So,
And Charlie, of course, in full regalia, which is awesome. So well played. And J-Man. Oh, sorry, J-Man.
Yeah.
I have to do it properly. And we have a newcomer to the Action Elite. We have Nate, who's also from Give Me Back My Horror Movies and Give Me Back My Action Movies as well. So how are you?
Hello.
That's right. He's the scary side of the podcast.
Yeah, I'm the spooky side.
Dark side.
Yeah, that's right.
Dark side of the podcast.
So John was going to be joining us tonight, but he can't due to other commitments. So I'm going to read out his ranking at the end of the stream. We'll go down and then we can laugh at his choices or whatever. That's fine. So,
We're not that
as if we would. So I don't know. Does anybody remember whenever this article came up, or if it was a meme? And I thought, yeah, this is just absolutely perfect.
Do not know. No comment.
All you married guys would be like, no comment.
I was going to say, there's some of us are married and some of us aren't. And my wife may be watching tonight. So
Well, I'm not married, so I can say Predator's better.
damn it, man. You're supposed to run this shit by us before you post it.
Yeah.
We have to be emotionally prepared for this. Oh, we've got 3 comments already. Wow. So, hey, Brennan, how are you? And can help you reach for further comment. Hello.
Hello.
He will not be reached further.
Don't worry, asshole. You'll get another chance. Just Joe 47. All right.
Hey, Joe.
All right. So tonight we are going to be ranking all the Predator movies, including the AVP movies. I'm not going to do the Alien movies because we'd be here for like 5 hours. We'll maybe do that some other time. But I think the Predator franchise is more sort of action based,
Right.
apart from Aliens. So I guess we'll start then. Huh?
Sure.
All right.
Nothing we got. I think we should get a few things out of the way. Star Wars, James Bond, Batman. What else do we need to get out of the way right now?
Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Zack Snyder,
Yeah.
Justice League.
Oh, I knew something I wanted to do. Yeah. If anybody is a Predator fan, this is awesome.
Is that
Oh,
the
yeah.
omnibus
Yeah.
with like
It's
3
not-
novels in one?
Yeah, it's like 16 short stories.
Oh, sweet.
Something
Okay,
like that.
nice.
Yeah, and it's got the Colonial Marines in it as well. So I was like, finally, what everyone's been waiting for.
I didn't know we were bringing props.
I ain't got time to read.
That's because you don't know how to read. There's a big difference.
Stop it, man. You're not supposed to give away secrets as my co-host.
You got time to
Sit there.
drink?
Be pretty
That's what I
Damn it.
do. I'm the looks, and you're the guy that can't read.
on an audio podcast.
Yeah.
Be a pretty one.
All right. So, well, I guess I'll start, I suppose. So my number 7 in the franchise, which I consider the absolute weakest movie, is 2018's The Predator, which I think is more of a parody than anything else. It's just a comedy. There's no tension. The Predator's not scary. Nothing scary about it. Everything is just a joke the whole way through it. So that's why I think it's like the worst Predator movie. However, I watched it last week and I was like, you know what? It's still a fun action comedy. Just if you watch it aside from it and you just like, yeah, you know, I can enjoy it for on its own. But when you go back and you watch like the original Predator or even the second one, you're like, what is this? It's like, it's hard to believe that Shane Black was involved with the original Predator whenever you see how far he fell with this movie. So for me, this is definitely the weakest in the franchise. Like I said, I can watch it just as an action comedy, but as a Predator movie, there's nothing scary. There's no tension. Everything's just a joke. And it just really takes it out of it. And then even the effects aren't good. It feels like an MCU movie, particularly the end, whenever you got the Predator suit and everything. I'm like, the fuck is this? So, yeah, I do not like this one as much as the other ones. So, over to you, Nate. What's your number 7?
My number 7, I just finished watching like literally an hour and a half ago. Alien versus Predator, the first one. I do not I despise that movie. I find zero joy in it and absolutely nothing fun about it. I hate Paul W.S. Anderson for what he does.
Jesus, dude, get off him.
Hey, you make 3 good movies, and that's it.
Oh, maybe 4. I don't know, maybe 5. I don't know.
Like everything about it, it's such a like slap in the face to the Alien Queen. It's not even fun cheesy, and like the fact that when the facehugger first pops off, and it does the damn slow-mo because that's what we did in the early 2000s because of the Matrix was we had to slow down the camera. And the fact that it completely ignores that's what made the first Alien so damn scary is when that face hugger burst out or when like the chest burster happens and it just cuts away. Like, I don't know. To me, that one's like an ultimate slap in the face to like all the franchise.
Yep.
Strong despise against it. Strong.
Firm but fair.
My name's Nate. I like Paul W.S. Anderson. Yeah.
really good death race in Mortal Kombat, and there's another one I don't remember.
Event Horizon.
That was it. The one we covered.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Event Horizon was awesome.
Look at me.
Awesome.
I don't got IMDb open up. Yeah, it's getting a 4K release here soon. It's gonna be amazing.
I'm married to Mila Jovovich.
I made 4 Resident Evil movies when I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, The Predator has 2 alternate endings, one with Ellen Ripley in the pod and another with Adult Newt. Yeah, but really it should have been Dutch. The Predator killer, we're like, okay, it's going to be Dutch. And then I was like, oh, it's a robot suit.
Ellen Ripley would have been a fun one only because you would have had to explain how did she travel back in time.
In time, yeah, you're like, what?
Yeah.
And I saw Predator There's a large group of Rastafarians in front row. Needless to say, the Predator dogs were hit. Yes.
Oh, it had
Nice.
to be.
Nice.
It had to be, man. That'd been amazing.
So,
Oh, Pete finally did show up. I thought you had rehearsal, Pete. Yeah, Nate, you dingo. Dingo.
I don't got IMDb open up on the side, so we got to use my memory, and sometimes that's not good.
You're not wrong.
anyway, Sean, what's your number 7?
I thought everyone's was gonna be the Predator, but
So did I, yeah.
yeah, no, the Predator, man. What the hell was that? Like, I understand they're trying to expand the universe to franchise it out more, and open up the concept, but all they did was just make a modern day blockbuster with all the tropes we hate, with like quipping. Like, there's how many of them are there in the Loonies? There's so many of them. That whole truck sequence where they're being carted to wherever, and they all have to introduce each other, and it's so terribly introducing each other. It's so bad, and like the rest of it, they're still carrying on like this for the whole movie. The Predator himself doesn't look great. Like both of them, like the design work isn't great. It looks like a Power Rangers outfit. Like, it looks very plastic as metal. It looks really bad. The only thing I liked about that movie is when the Predator hitches a ride on a truck, kills everyone in the back of the truck, and the guy's like, "What's going on back there?" And he picks up an arm with a thumb like that.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I
the best
laughed
scene.
at.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. Beyond that, it's not a Predator movie. They stray too far from the concept. There's nothing boring about Predator stalking people, and you can do anything with that. You can do so many different scenarios. I think that was kind of the thinking going into this. Like, oh, that's boring. Let's do something different. And that something different is some sort of dumb civil war, and they're trying to take over the planet. No one cares.
Yeah.
That's not Predator anymore. So yeah, it's the least Predator-like Predator movie, and so it's the worst for me.
Mm-hmm. Yep, agreed. Although I also like the scene where she's on top of the bus, and he's like, "Don't worry, I'll catch you." And then she jumps off, and he walks away. She just falls in her ass.
Olivia might deserve that.
It doesn't belong in a Predator movie, but it's still a funny moment. But that's the thing, is like, you're watching all the scenes, you're like, "Is this a Predator movie?" I just remember thinking that in the cinema, and I was like, "Am I in the right theater?" It was weird.
And those dogs are the worst. All the design work is bad. It's like the dogs in Predators was better than these guys, right? But
yeah, that was the thing. So, J-Man.
Okay, so I have, except for Predator 1 and 2, I had not seen any of these movies more than once. I own them all, so I rewatched 1 and 2 and everything. I rewatched it all. Unrated version, whatever the best version you could have. I think I'm going to be in the minority on a lot of this stuff, but my worst, and I can rank these. I'll tell you how I rank them almost. This just happened to come out this way. I'll tell you at the end. But the worst one for me is Alien versus Predator Requiem. I think that's a trash, horrible, garbage shit movie fest. You can't see anything. I've got a 65-inch 4K TV. I couldn't see a goddamn thing. Oh, there's an Alien Predator hybrid. Is there? What scene is it?
Where?
Where is it?
You get to see the back of him.
Yeah, and you can't see anything in this movie. I was gonna say the Predator, like I started doing my list. I'm like, all right, the Predator is the worst. I'm like, well, hold on a second here. I can't see anything in this movie. So the problem is that the characters are bland as shit. The Predator and Alien are running around a small town. The Predator has gone from fighting an elite mercenary squad to killing like hobos with a shotgun and freaking and like the town sheriff. I'm like, this is a disaster. Like the human characters are bland and garbage, and they just get killed off. This is like a Friday 13th movie where
It's
you
a
can't see the
movie.
kills.
Yeah.
It's a slasher movie, but you can't see Jason kill everybody. So at least Jason killing people makes you excited in cool ways. This movie was awful. I gave it 1 out of 10 on my space rating. It's bloody brutal. It got a 1. I got half a point for the girl's body and a half a point for where they tried to make up an alien hybrid, which was kind of a neat thing. But that's even taken from AVP 1. So even that's not really their own idea. I thought it was a trash movie. I hate AVPR. I will never watch that again.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right. Over to you, Blaine.
I gotta follow that. Jesus Christ, man! Holy shit! Hey, check out the comments though, real quick here before we get too far. What we got?
So we got Shane Black's Predator's the only Pred movie I haven't seen. You're not missing anything, so don't bother.
I still say see it just because
Yeah.
it's got blood.
It's got some funny moments in it.
Oh, rehearsal was canceled, huh, Pete? How convenient.
The second half of the Predator was entirely reshot. The upgrade Predator was added later. Yeah, the studio, apparently there was lots of interference and it just turned out like an absolute mess, sadly. And Hobo with a shotgun versus Predator can't be any worse than AVPR.
If Rucker Howard would kick the shit out of a Predator. I'm calling that right now.
That's right. That's it. All right, so my number 7, I'm with J-Man. Requiem is garbage. I had zero fun in that movie. I've rewatched all of these leading up, and it's the one I couldn't pay attention to.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, is this over yet? It has one redeeming scene in the entire movie, and that's when that bitch gets pinned to the wall with that throwing star crawl looking motherfucker.
Yeah, that was good.
And it's up in the ceiling corner. I mean, it's
At like an angle.
at an angle,
Yeah,
and you're not expecting it. And it's like the only thing that you can see clearly. The Pred Alien, cool concept. Couldn't pull it off. I cared zero about any of the characters whatsoever in the movie. It was like a teen. You're right. You nailed it. It was like a teen slasher with the Predator thrown into it, and a bunch of them run around going, "Fuck, we got to clean up this mess." I hate Requiem. I can't watch it. I don't know if I'm a 1 out of 10 because there is a Predator in this, and it,
that's your 1.
That's the one.
Okay,
You don't see him though.
The wolf Predator is probably one of the cooler looking Predators, though, all in all, and he was a badass. I'll give him that, but number 7 is Requiem all day long. I can't. I'm with J-Man. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Maybe when I let Anthony watch it, I might sit there and laugh the whole time. I don't know.
Yeah, and funnily enough, it's my number 6.
Roll right into it, boys.
Yeah, well, I can see what's happening.
Yeah, at least you can see that. That's a better movie.
Yeah.
That was very well lit, and I believed all the costumes. Perfect.
So, yeah, just to add to stuff you guys said, I also found, normally I'm not bothered by things in movies, but I thought the pregnant woman was horrendous. I thought that was a disgusting idea. Like a pregnant woman being ripped open, whatever else. I was like, oh, ew, what the hell?
And why do they have multiples?
Yeah.
If it's
Since
her,
when did that was that thing?
because it wouldn't have had to go. There's 1 egg per spider per face hugger. So how there's multiples, and then did a face hugger go into the baby to have one come out? Wouldn't that be really like? No, I can't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
A Predator's load is like a lot.
But it was the Pred Alien doing it. Right?
Stop it.
Maybe it's different somehow. Yeah.
It's not that kind of show. Later at like the second hour is when we really get into that stuff.
You need to get through 1 drink first.
Yeah.
What's her name? 24. Tony Almeida's wife is one of the top. Yeah, she's like the military checking it. Yeah.
And that's the perfect way to say it. What's her name?
Yeah, but I'm like that.
Who's a what's it?
And AVP, the 2 movies. I'm like, I don't remember any of the characters from either of those movies. This one has the absolute, probably the worst characters of the franchise, I think, because like the main guy's a fucking pizza dude. I'm like, what? Yeah, that just makes no sense. In fact, actually,
What the fuck?
that was pretty much what I was going
Yeah.
to. So,
I'm with it.
yeah, I'm just that's not gonna.
And Pete, it was Kenner that did the toys instead of Hasbro.
Kenner, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So
I was gonna dig them out, but I was like, it's gonna be a long stream anyway. I was gonna do like J-Man's Flash Gordon stream where I was like, I got this one and this one and this one and this one because we love toys, J-Man.
We do.
Remind me to do an honorable mention before the end. Which I will mention. So, but yeah, so Requiem also sucks. The only thing I like is you see the Predator homeworld in the opening scene. That seems cool. And I was like, couldn't we just have the movie there?
Right.
That was all right. And then you get some of the Brian Tyler score is all right, and you get hints of the Predator and Alien music, but aside from that, yeah, it's generally unwatchable. You can't see anything. Like you create this hybrid alien, and then you literally never ever see it in full ever. It's always in shadow. I'm like, great. So anyway, yeah, so that sucks. So that's my number 6. Nate, what's your number 6?
Right there with you. It's Requiem. It's probably the most frustrating experience of watching a movie because I don't think I've ever seen it uncut. Meaning, like, I think I've only ever watched it on like basic cable. So right when Prey was about to come out, I locked myself in my house and watched every single movie in order, except for the first AVP because I was holding off because I really didn't want to go back to that one until today. And it's so frustrating because Wolf is a fantastic Predator. The idea of a cleaner is badass. This guy going in and disposing of all evidence, him taking one of his shoulder blasters and turning that into a pistol when it breaks off. But yeah, the fact that you can't see shit is so annoying because there are some really good bloody, gory moments in that movie, but they're hidden by shadows. And yeah, like all the people are terrible. You don't care about any of them, which is the heart of Predator, is the fact that you latch on to all these characters no matter what. Even in the Predator, there's some characters that, you know, you do like. And like AVPR just completely ignores that. And I love the concept of being in rural America, because what is better than having a bunch of like rednecks with all their guns going up against an alien and a Predator? It's a brilliant idea that is just tanked completely by having stupid yeah, we would totally win. USA. Like, it's just wasted with characters arguing about should they go to a helipad or not, and then somehow one of them can fly it, and then the whole town gets nuked, like at the end of Resident Evil 2, the game. Like, it's monotonous and dumb, and it's just like, you almost killed 2 franchises at once for me. That is impressive. And on top of that, you kind of have, because I still have not gotten an Alien movie since. Assholes.
That's true. Yeah. Yep. So, Sean.
Oh, it's AVPR. It's a like the thing. It's the worst of the 2 AVPs. What's frustrating about the AVP movies is that when you think back to it, and I remember at the time, AVP and AVP are basically Predator like 3 and 4. Like we didn't have anything between like Predators and Predator 2 and Predators. Like Predator 2 is what, 1990, and Predators is like 2010, and so these are in the 2000s, and it's like we want to see the Predators again, but it's like you get them in a PG movie, and then the next one's like, okay, it's gonna be R this time. It's like, great, like this is gonna be awesome, and you watch it, and yeah, you can't see anything. I still don't really know what the Predalien looks like,
right?
To be honest with you, that could have been awesome. I love the Predator in it. Like I agree with you, Nate. Like I like the concept of him. There's some cool moments with that Predator, but ultimately, it's really the Aliens movie. It's more like Aliens as Gremlins, basically. It's like them terrorizing a little rural area. It's like Ghoulies 2 with aliens.
Yeah, even like with that hospital scene, like that's great body horror that makes absolutely no sense, but I am totally down to see a bunch of pregnant women just have their stomach explode with little aliens. Like, it's gross.
I like the idea of like the aliens taking their lead from the Predalien. Like he's basically telling them what to do and stuff, but you can't see anything, and you don't really play with the concept that much, and it's just sort of like going through the paces. I do like the town being nuked. It's shades of Return of the Living Dead, right? But like, but beyond that, there's just not a lot. When I think back to that visually, it just seems dreary and a mess. Like you can't remember anything iconically. It's like, I would love to be able to see it all, and then all the characters suck. It's great when that girl. I think they understood how much that girl was going to be hated because they had like the best death for her. But the rest of it can go hang. I don't care.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, it's such a slam dunk of an idea, like Aliens versus Predator. You would have thought that someone would have done it. I mean, I was saying to Charlie last week, the idea I had for it was I would do a silent movie where there's no humans. The Predator is the lead, and it starts off with the Predator waking up with none of his weapons on this planet, and it's a xenomorph planet. But his weapons are placed like around the place, and he is a young blood predator, so he's got to earn it as weapons as he takes on various xenomorphs. And there you go. And it's like Predator, Youngblood, or Predator Arena, or something like that. And I was like, there you go. You fight lots of aliens and predators, and there you go. You don't ruin it with annoying humans, because it's the humans are like the boring part. It's like a Transformers movie. I want to see Transformers in it. I don't care about the humans. So I don't know why they always have to do that. Anyway, J-Man.
Number 6, which is I'm getting a 3 out of 10, which is proof that God exists, because I gave this a 3 out of 10. It's called The Predator. I know we say The Predator, but it's not called that because it has nothing to do with Predator. So I'm calling it The Predator. The Predator has such great concepts as, how there's always a funny guy in the group? I got an idea. Why don't we make them all funny and annoying? Yeah. Oh, wait, I got a better idea. Hold on. Let's have a little kid in it who's annoying and can do everything. Oh, perfect. I go, I got another idea. Let's have a girl who's a scientist and like athletic and shooting. It's like, if you spend 8 hours a day working out, you don't spend 8 hours a day studying. You can't be both. It's like, stop it. That movie is trash. I thought it was the worst movie, but then I saw AVP, which I didn't see. I didn't see any of AVP. It was just sound happening in the background. So I don't know. I guess they tried. And then it's like, hey, look, let's get Peter Keyes' son, and it'll be Jake Busey. Wow, that's so cool. He's dead.
Yeah, one scene, and you're like, that's great.
And I've never seen, the Predator that came down to help humanity. He was a great, awesome guy. He only killed 4,000 humans. It's like he's killing every human being he comes across. This Predator was here to help us and give us this armor. It didn't look like it when he slaughtered everybody. I can't believe it.
You wake up in a lab all tied up and not want to slaughter everyone.
But the point of that is that he doesn't need to. And why is he still adhering to his if you're armed thing? It's like he's not a predator. It's like, she's like, he didn't kill me because I was naked. No, he's supposed to only kill the guy if in fact he's in self-defense, then the scientists running away don't need to be killed, right? Like, it's such a trash movie. It's lazy as shit. They didn't think of anything. And it's like, well, let's have this stupid thing where I don't think they know how shields work. It's like the shields are coming around this way. Well, what if they come around that way? Like, they're jumping on top of the shields. I'm like, do you watch Star Trek? It doesn't work like that. It's like the Batmobile in '89. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, I hate that movie. It's so trash. Never watching it again. What a trash movie.
Tell us what you really think.
Damn.
No, Batman 89
I love Batman.
is 10 out of 10. Well, no, it's 9.5 out of 10.
What did Tim Burton do to you, Jay, man?
Damn, man.
He hurt you.
Man.
Ruined my
He's
childhood.
a bigger fan of the bat nips.
I'm
Look, man, the part that got cut out was the anal probe. That's why he killed all those scientists.
Right.
He's like, fuck you guys. Where's your
Supposed to do the
hurt?
probing.
I also hated every character in that. None of them are funny. Even Thomas Jane.
Yeah. I like, how'd you screw up Thomas Jane? Like, he saves every movie, and he didn't even do anything.
Right.
Just catch all these comments. I saw Requiem on DVD, and I thought I got a bad copy, or my TV's brightness contracts was stolen. Yeah. Same here. I'm just like, is there something wrong with this?
We thought that in the theater.
Yeah. I think Vikings versus Predator is sexier than Rednecks.
He's right.
Yeah.
I would do that.
And of course, everyone's talking about, of course, Samurai or something as well, or feudal Japan.
I'd watch it too.
There's so much you can do,
Yeah. Thankfully, the Brothers only directed one more movie after Requiem. Aliens is Gremlins minus for the adorable.
Right.
That's true.
Wolf is the only standout. Yeah.
It really is. He's the only
Wolf is
standout.
fantastic.
Aliens is Gremlins. I'd watch Predator.
I'd watch a Predator movie with zero humans. Good. Me too.
Yep.
So Predator versus
later.
Graboids. I'd watch that too. That'd be awesome.
Molly would watch that.
What's he doing in Perfection?
Yeah.
Right.
And J-Man coming in strong.
I'll be coming in strong for most of these.
As always.
Pete's fairly new to the live stream here at the Action Elite, so he's now learning everyone's dynamic here.
Yeah. So Blaine, you're Blaine tonight. By the way, you're not
Blaine tonight. So my turn. I got to do number 6. So
you got time for number 6.
I've gone back and forth, and in rewatching these, I had to go with which one did I A, pay attention to more, B, did I laugh the most, have the most fun with, and will rewatch. So that made number 6 AVP. And it kills me because Lance Hendrickson's in that movie, but they also rated it PG-13. Fuck you. Let me give you the best from the 80s and 90s of aliens and predators. Blood, guts, skulls, spines, anything, everything. PG-13 though. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
I didn't even know that was queued up. That's it.
I have that ready.
Yes. Yes.
What about when the Predator and the woman decide to go sledding together? Wasn't that so adorable?
Uphill.
Up a hill?
Uphill. The Predator's outfit looked like one of the best cosplay outfits I've ever seen in my life. It looked so perfect. No scratches, no nothing. It was almost too well done. And it sucks because we were all looking forward to this movie. You said Alien versus Predator, not rated yet. Nothing had come out yet. And we're like, fuck yeah. Yes, give me all of that. And then PG-13, right? I think it's like a week or two before it dropped. They finally released the fact that it was like,
and they knew what they were doing. I remember watching on Fox like a special where they were interviewing Lance and stuff like that. Because I was like 15, 16 when that movie came out. I remember seeing it in the drive-in. That was like peak, should have been my target audience. And I remember just like leaving that going, what the hell just happened?
Dude, comics were flying
What did you just
off
do
the
to my
shelf.
childhood?
Everyone was going nuts for
the video game. Like
the video
there was
game,
just so much that this had writing on it. And then like to disappoint a 16-year-old who should be entertained by anything that is stupid and bloody, and it's just stupid.
And to even do like, okay, we made it really, really gory, but they made us cut it. No, we never even got that. We never even got a true version of what this movie should have been. So AVP just failed on because of what it promised and what it should have been. The only reason it's not last is because Requiem is unwatchable. and that's the other kick in the pants. This was your second chance to fix AVP.
Right.
You named it AVP Requiem, which is AVPR.
Right.
You were like, we're going bloody, people. We're bringing it back. We heard you. We listened to you. No, you fucking didn't. You didn't hear shit we said. And you gave us that garbage. And then, you started out with AVP, which should have been the pinnacle. That's like Ash versus Freddy. That's like that's like Freddy versus Jason.
It should have happened.
Shit. And why can't they fucking do it right? Why can't they do any of this right?
When AVP Requiem was announced, I thought it was going to be a sequel to the Aronofsky film Requiem for a Dream, but aliens and Predator.
That'd have been cheerful.
So I was very disappointed when a Predator did not get addicted to drugs.
Still would have been better.
It would have been better.
So
absolutely.
yeah, my number 6 is AVP.
Okay. That is actually next on my list is AVP. Now, I only watched for the first time last week the unrated version, which I think J-Man, you gave me the DVD of it years ago. I think was that the
possible because I upgraded the Blu-ray, but it may have been Steve because I think I never bought those movies because I was just never planning on rewatching them, and then I saw a 2-pack for like $4.99 Blu-ray. I was like, oh, I'll take it. And it was unrated, so
fair enough. Yeah. So I mean, I watched it, and like it does have a few more bloody kills and things, but it's still not great. Like the characters are still boring. I kind of liked Sana Lathan as whatever her character was. I actually wrote down her character's name because I can never remember. Alexa. But I just think Amazon. But yeah, characters weren't particularly interesting. The PG-13 rating thing, you're like, to the goriest franchises of all time. Oh, I know, let's take out what everybody's here to see and give the boring characters. And I'm like, no. So, yeah, I think I kind of like the showdown at the end because I think the visuals of the alien queen are quite good. Whenever she's like running along, and I was like, that's very well done. And you know, it is fun to see the two creatures on screen together, but it's still kind of crap. But it's only because Requiem and the Predator are both like even shitter as high up as it is.
That's what it is. It's that much worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it had the cool like egg scene too. I loved when that dude was like encasing the stuff and he's got like 1 or 2 rounds left in that gun. Yeah. That was really cool. Why is this not rated R? I get that they gave us an unrated, but fuck you, you put PG-13 in the theater.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to ding you forever. And you didn't really make a bloody movie. We had to cut a few things because they didn't say we couldn't put in PG-13. Not, it was so fucking R, we had to cut shit so we didn't get X. That's what I would rather have.
Yeah.
You know, not the other way around.
The problem was this is during that period, and I remember when they fucked with Die Hard as well, and did Live Free or Die Hard, and it was PG-13. And in this, she's like, "You're ugly, mother!" Something happens. Yippee-ki-yay, mother! Gunshot.
Yeah.
And then Battleship. It's like, "Mahalo, mother!" And then something happens, and like, stop doing that. Just say motherfucker, motherfucker. Just say it. It's just a word. It's like, why'd you have to edit it? Say it. Say it. Say it. So so there, that's my that rant over. But yeah,
settle down, Jay, man.
Yeah, hire the damn Dark Horse writers of the AVP screenplay. It's not that hard. Yeah, it's really not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They never hire comic book writers though. It's all part of this thing that they don't want anything to be good. So
it's the Illuminati.
It's the Illuminati.
It's all the Illuminati.
It is.
Yeah, that's so true.
You Professor X.
So Nate.
I actually enjoyed The Predator, but even if it is the weaker of the entry, I think it's just a dumb, fun action movie. Yeah. It's not a Predator movie, but I don't know. It's stupid. It's fun. It's really bloody, like super bloody. I remember going to see it in theater dreading it, like absolutely dreading it, because I thought what they were going to do with it was have just the big Predator the whole time and not the normal size one, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So like, when he came in, I was like, CGI Predator, this is really bad. This is really stupid. But even like the moment where like the final fight, like in the dark, where you have Key and Thomas Jane, like they're dying, but they're battle buddies and they point that gun at each other and shoot one another. That's touching, I thought. Like, I thought that was a cool moment. You get a lot of that Shane Black wittiness. It's definitely his weakest entry, especially coming off of The Nice Guys. I'm one of the rare people that thinks Iron Man 3 is a great movie. No, I love it, man.
Anybody want to be a podcast co-host?
Guy Pearce all day.
I didn't know that.
And you gotta make you make Iron Man, humble. Dig it. But like with the Predator, it's just I hate Olivia Munn so much. And like it was cool to have keys, but also what do we get Jake Busey in anymore these days? So I understand why he gets killed super quick. Roadhouse 2 never happened, sir.
There can be only one.
That's right. Space Roadhouse.
So yeah, like the Predator's dumb fun. I'm not gonna rewatch it as much as the other ones, but if I'm doing like what I did of rewatching all of them, I'll put them on.
Did I tell you? In fact, this isn't the troll story. I'll get to that shortly, but this is a different one. Whenever I first did a review for the Predator after seeing it, this absolute dick on the main Facebook page was like, "You guys don't know what you're talking about. Predator is boring. This is a real action movie, and you guys don't know what you're talking about." And I was just like,
"Fuck you."
I mean, that's all you could say. I was like, that's my response to most people these days.
I feel that in my soul.
Yeah. And I was just like, you have to be the dumbest motherfucker ever put on this earth to think that is a better movie than Predator. So yeah, fuck you.
I also think the main lead, I don't know his name, but I'd like to see him in more action movies. I think that dude's got potential. He's really charismatic. There's something about him that's charming.
He was the bad guy in Logan, wasn't he? I never
Lloyd
remember his name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually in The Sandman on Netflix right now.
Oh, is he? I need to check that out.
Yeah. So, Sean.
5, right? AVP.
5. AVP,
yeah. AVP 1. Look, the PG-13. We've said it a million times. I don't know why. It's like 2 of the top rated R superstar monsters from the 80s in a PG-13 movie. It's ridiculous. I like some of the ideas in it. I like some of the fights, but ultimately it's like, you know, if you're not going to give us what we want in terms of and also my problem was that pyramid kind of stole the show, and it's supposed to be Alien versus Predator, right? And you got this dumb pyramid killing people. It's like, I want the aliens and the predators to do it, you know? I don't want like, it's cool that they have all this weird crap, but like, it seems so out of place, like they dusted off an old spec script and just put Alien and Predator in it. It's disappointing because I remember reading a Cinescape magazine from '94 or something like that when Mask was coming out, and there was an article in there about the script that they had back then for AVP, and it was based on the old Dark Horse comic, like the first one. And they had like concept art and stuff, and they showed it. And one of the concept arts was like the aliens are trying to make the predators trying to make new aliens to hunt, and they tie up rhinoceroses and they get ingested with the aliens and stuff, like cool stuff. Whoa, like that.
That'd be sweet.
And they had little excerpts of the script, and it was, this is like the comic, like the first comic story. This is awesome. I can't wait for this movie. And then when I heard about the new one, I was like, oh crap, they just jettisoned the old script. What's this gonna be? And it's this like pyramid in the Arctic crap. I don't know where that came from. I swear to God, they got an old script and then just shoved things in it. I don't know, but yeah, you can see stuff that's cool. Like, I mean, the alien queen at the end looks neat in that blue light and everything. But ultimately, it's not. It doesn't feel like the characters. They're not as vicious as they should be. And it's just disappointing. So it's my number 5.
I am disappointed. Yeah. What's interesting is that I was looking at I forgot to put the Predator poster up. I have a Predator poster in the front room, and it's framed, and I was going to put it behind me, but I forgot. But what's interesting is whenever you look at the poster now, and it's like nothing like it has ever been on Earth before, and you're like, except in like Prey and
every other movie,
AVP and all the other ones now. So that tagline is now moved. So
you should just write with magic marker yet.
Yet. Jake Busey played Sex Machine in From Dusk Till Dawn TV.
I couldn't get past the pilot. Really? If Pete says it's worth everyone's time, I'll believe him. But that pilot, when it just tried to like stretch out the first 10 minutes of the movie into an hour, but without the powerhouse of George Clooney, I was like, I'm not feeling this whatsoever.
All right, so J-Man.
Oh boy, here's where we veer off.
Not really. I bet I know what it's going to be.
It's Prey. This movie is lazy. This movie is lazy as hell. It's like, oh, what if the Predator fought natives? Okay, and what else? Well, hold on. Maybe some French guys. Maybe some French guys can show up and do nothing. Okay. Okay. That's the whole movie. Oh, okay. It's not a movie. Here,
is it that Predator?
Let me tell you, the Predator looks like garbage too. But let me give you.
No, I mean just Predator.
Yeah. Let me give you the J-Man version of this movie. What if there's nothing in the beginning? It doesn't say 1700, doesn't say Comanche, doesn't say shit. About an hour into the movie or whenever it is, when one of those natives, we were not saying they're Comanche, when one of those natives gets cut, let's say he's got blue blood coming out of him, and you're like, whoa, this is not Earth. I thought this might be Earth, but it's not. That would have immediately, you're like, oh, whoa, what's going on here? And if they had said nothing, the movie's normal, it's a Class M planet, we know from Star Trek, right? All of a sudden they've got blue blood, you're like, whoa, and then cool things can happen. It's like, it's literally I got an idea, natives versus the Predator, that is it. There's nothing creative at all. I'm like, when the Predator wiped the crap out of these natives, like when he literally destroyed them, it's like, well, no, because she has this axe and, well, she's a warrior. Okay. Like he's fighting native, like he went from Dutch and Dylan to like the government to like these killers. And now it's like these natives. It's just like, this is not, I gave it a 5 out of 10. The cinematography is excellent. I like the characters, the guy and girl together. I like their dynamic together. I can't. This isn't a movie. I'm just like, it's like I don't know. It's not Predator at all to me. The Predator is defined by how well he hunts and the guys that he takes out. He's fighting Schwarzenegger, and now it's like this girl. I'm like, can't the Predator like instant kill everyone here? I don't know. I just can't. I don't know. I can't get this movie. It's not a
calm down,
movie.
Nate.
Calm down.
Wait till you talk about your prey. Calm down.
It's not a Predator movie. He's fighting natives.
Down.
This is not a Predator movie.
Down.
It's like it's about the prey. It's like I don't know. It just seems like the opponents for the Predator get weaker, right? Like the next one is the people in the town. The one after that, or it's the loony bin people, and the one after that, it's the people in the town. It's like
they're an old folks home.
That's good, right? The next one's going to be children. The next one's going to be handicapped children, and the next one's going like I don't know what to like. It's so
could not. I was going to say like a lot of this stuff was done in the comics. And I think Pete, you were saying Predator versus Pirates that was done in the comics.
Yeah,
I mean, like they've done all that stuff.
That's where the gun come from originally in the comics.
And I don't like prequels either. I would rather they just move forward, like go into the future and fight someone. And again, Prey. If Blue Blood, hey, what do you think about the Blue Blood idea? That'd be like, whoa, you'd be like, whoa, what's going on? And then
that's you creating an idea of what you wanted the movie to be.
No, I wanted it to be an enjoyable movie, and it was kind of boring. and nothing else. It's me fixing it. I'm not just saying it sucks. I'm giving what I would do to make it better.
Fair. You'll get your chance, Nate. Calm down. J-Man's also he's
right.
Welcome to the show, Pete.
He is correct.
Welcome to the show.
No, I have not lost my mind. How is this a Predator movie?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Yeah, the Predator forgets how his own tech works. Yeah, Predator is not a time traveler. Versus Kid and his alien from Mac and Me.
Yeah.
All right, Blaine, up to you.
All right, well, this one's got to go to the Predator. The reason this one got above the AVP ones is because it's fucking fun. It's just stupid fun, man. I laugh every time I watch it. I love the dog. I don't give a shit what anyone says. When that dumbass comes running in the building with the grenade, I fucking love that part. I love the characters. Like I said, the I've already forgot his name anyway. The main lead in that, I've always liked him. But yeah. He reminds me of the guy that took over for RoboCop, even though that movie was shit. But I like, Rick Flag. He's that kind of level actor that I want to keep following him through his career. I like how he is.
You want that dude to get more action roles. Both
exactly.
Like these guys have that potential.
I love the fact that we brought back Keys and it was Jake Busey. And, I was like, I love that. It's just fun. Throw a little nod. Olivia Munn is a take it or leave it for me. I grew up watching her show. And she's TNA for movies and TV shows. So you knew what you were going to get with her. The whole scene in
they didn't use her for that, though. That's what I was waiting for. I could have given an extra point.
She took all her clothes off in this movie.
You didn't see anything. It was PG or whatever.
Well, I mean, we saw more when she was Psylocke, I guess. But I love everything in the hotel room where they're like leaving gifts around the bed for her when she was knocked out. I laughed my ass off the entire time. And they're betting. Told you she'd go for the shotgun.
Yes, I forgot about the bet.
I love all
Told
of
you
that.
she pulled the trigger.
Exactly. To me, that made that movie, the movie shit, but it made it more fun than the other two.
It's way better than it had any right to be.
It really did. We watched it in theater. It was not even a good theater we went to. It was one of the little local 2-screen ones. And I was like, I just want to see this on the big screen. Normal people should watch Predator movies. It looked cool. I could see everything. It had action. It was Shane Black, and I find his comedy and his writing good. The big misconception is he didn't fucking write Predator. He was there to fix a few things. That's why he's even in the movie. Is we needed a script doctor and they won't let us hire one. Put Shane Black in the movie. We have him on set. He didn't write the Predator. He just fixed some things. So to get kind of what he would have done, you get more of the Lethal Weapon-y kind of feel with the Predator. The NCGI is garbage. I wish they never done it. They should have just had a shoulder cannon harness for him to throw on or some shit. Anything would have been better. the rest of the CGI worked good for me. I liked the ship. I liked how everything looked on that. Predator looked awesome. Alpha Predator with nothing on him just looks like a giant naked dude running around, tearing shit up. Even the toy, when it came out, and it was way more expensive than all the other NECA figures, I looked at it and went, nah, and put it right back on. And I have NECA Predator shit everywhere behind my this isn't green screen. This is true camouflage screen. But no, it's fun, and it beats out the AVP, dual movies. I wanted to say trilogy, but don't give me a third one. Fuck off. You can't do it anymore. I don't want it.
Not unless I write it.
Yeah, that's
if we come together and actually write it and do it properly.
You got to run it through us, man. I mean, who else goes all out? I mean, really.
That's one of those. Yeah. I do like Boyd Holbrook. So,
and that's what sucks. He's getting smaller roles, and that's bullshit. He should be getting bigger roles.
Yeah, he's good at hero and the villain as well.
Him and Logan is one of my favorite things. He's just got that coolness to him, that just very calculated. Even he kind of almost loses it a little bit at the end, but that whole lead up when he's in the car with Logan talking, like, you're my favorite, you're my hero. I love all of that. AVP versus Mac and Me.
Yeah. Do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like Mac and Me. Sue me. I don't care.
I used to like him when I was a kid. I haven't seen it in years.
I love that movie growing up.
So number 4 for me, and this is Prey. So the top 4 is going to be the interesting one for me. I definitely like this more than J-Man. I actually liked Amber Midthunder. First of all, that's an awesome name. That's just like the best name ever.
Mm-hmm.
And Naru was interesting. I mean, people were complaining, oh, it's a girl. And I was like, so as Sarah Connor was a girl and she beat a Terminator in the first one.
She was a waitress.
She was a waitress, and I was like, yeah, that argument is moot. But also, and I've watched the film 3 times. I watched it twice in English, and I watched the Comanche version. And the Comanche version is actually the best one because there's bits which get subtitles which aren't in the other version, so it kind of explains a bit more. I agree with a lot of the flaw. Yeah, it's a little slow, yes, but I like the atmosphere of it. I think it looks beautiful, shot here in Canada. And it looks stunning.
You're not Canadian, Owen. Stop it.
I am now.
He's like, I am now. They've accepted me as one of their own.
I don't blame him.
So, and at first I didn't like the music so much. I was like, where's the Predator music? And then I watched it again. And I was like, oh wait, that is the Predator music in the end credits. It's just a very subtle version of it. And I was like, okay, that's actually kind of ingenious. So I like that. This is a different Predator, so he was going to look different. He's like the feral Predator, the young blood Predator, because I was sort of like, oh, why doesn't he have a plasma cannon? And I was like, because he hasn't killed his xenomorph yet. So you have to like go up their ranks to earn all this stuff. But I was like, he's a bit of an idiot though, like the way he's killed by like spoiler alert, the way he's killed by like his own weapon. I'm like, really, you don't understand how your own tech works? I don't know. That kind of bothered me, but and I thought she needed to be just a bit more roughed up at the end. She sort of just barely had a scratch on her at the end, and that was it. But aside from that, it doesn't really do anything that new with it. It is just kind of the same thing, but I liked what they did. I liked with the gun thing, introducing that. I thought, oh, that was kind of a cool callback to Predator 2. That was all right. But watching this and then watching particularly the first 2 movies, I was like, yeah, it doesn't hold a candle to them. But just as a new reboot, I enjoyed it enough. But as I said to someone the other day, I said the problem is most movies today are such utter shit that whenever something comes out that's actually good, everyone's like, oh my god, it's a masterpiece. And you're like, yeah, it's not a masterpiece. Right. It's good. And that's sort of the thing. Yeah. So
true. Well, that's fair assessment.
So anyway, Nate.
My number 4 is Predator 2.
Get the fuck out. Play the drop. Play the.
What the fuck? What? What the fuck? You want me to believe that Danny Glover can kill a predator after watching 2 movies of you telling me that he is too old for this shit against just normal people? I'm supposed to believe this, That's my biggest gripe with the movie.
But the little native girl can do it.
The little girl
Yeah,
can.
she can. She's a Comanche warrior who's a badass hunter. We're not going to get to that just yet, though.
But she's a shit hunter, though.
Movies, right?
Right, like this, yeah, that's crazy.
Predator 2.
Danny Glover's like 7 feet tall, isn't he? And he had the whole government with him, and
He played a terrible serial killer in Switchback.
Action.
Switchback's just a terrible film, though.
Like, I don't know. Like, it's cool to have Bill Paxton in it. I love that. With Predator, it's one of those movies, like, after you've done that movie, it's like, okay, where do you go with the story? Because you kind of already knocked it out of the park. Moving to the city makes sense. If you got the jungle, do the urban jungle instead. The kills are great. It's super bloody. It's super violent. It's awesome with that. It's literally just Danny Glover is my biggest issue. Now, because this was early 90s, you could have replaced him with Wesley Snipes, and it would have been incredible. But the problem is Wesley Snipes was just like 2 years, maybe 3 years shy of becoming like the movie star that he was, you know? And that's my biggest problem with it. Where'd Charlie go? Oh, he just came back to flip me off. That's what. Look, we all know I love Predator 2. Like, for me, here on, it's just this is where all the good Predator movies are.
Paul W.S. Anderson, Predator 2. Fuck you.
It's more or less just Danny Glover being old and sluggish, and I'm supposed to believe he can fight this elite hunter.
Did you watch the movie?
Yeah, I watched it multiple times. I don't think he
fine.
gives a shit.
That's fine. We'll circle back when we
We'll circle
eventually
back
get
to
to
it.
my Predator 2 ranking. So
I can't wait.
yeah.
Sean.
Where are we at now? 4?
4.
Oh, it's Prey. Yeah, look, I mean, everyone's beat it to death, but like it's.
I've beaten it to death.
I'm not as bothered by it as J-Man, but I think I'll get there eventually. Because
you're gonna get there, Sean. We know it.
The thing is, like, it is lazy. It's just the whole point of it was to remake Predator just very, very carefully and like take elements from that movie and put them into this thing with this like spin that they have with he's in the past and he's well, it's a different Predator in the past, fighting Native people in the 1700s, whatever. But it's like, you know, instead of dirt, you have this like contrived flower thing. And I get it's based on a real herb, but it's not that exaggerated. But it's BS, right? And like, I don't know why he would fire. You're right, Owen. I don't know why he would fire the weapon, knowing how the targeting system works. Is he stupid? Like, or is it just convenient screenwriting? I think that the whole movie's lazy like that. That's my problem with it. But beyond that, it's like, yeah, it's okay and it looks beautiful. But I just don't like the fact that nothing new is really added to the lore. Nothing new is really added to the Predator. It would have been cool if he had different kinds of weapons that we haven't seen before. And I know this is in the past, but like maybe something that is sort of like cyberpunk for their species or something like that. Something neat. Or him improvising a weapon from that time period and making something that they've never seen before. Something that requires brains and innovation, you know, and that's what this movie doesn't really have. So anyhow,
I'm being quiet.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, J-Man.
So the only reason that this trashy movie beat Prey, which is AVP, is my number 4. AVP 1 is better than Prey because there's aliens and predators fighting each other in a cool pyramid. I don't know. Like, it's like, like, let me explain this to you without seeing the movies. Okay, we're gonna have this predator fight the natives. Okay, but wouldn't the predator just automatically kill the natives? No. It's a weaker predator. Oh, so we have a weak predator fighting weak prey. Okay, or that we're gonna have this cool pyramid. We're gonna have the aliens and predator fight each other. They're gonna fight a queen at the end. It's like, okay, now you can argue how well they accomplished that, and obviously they didn't accomplish either movie, in my opinion, very well. But I'd rather see the aliens and predators fighting each other in a pyramid in a story that's rubbish, in a thing that breaks the lore too, because it's like they helped build the pyramids. That's stupid, right?
Yeah.
But that's outrageous. It's like they built pyramids. They built pyramids on Earth just to fight aliens. Couldn't they get the xenomorph somewhere else and go somewhere where there's already a thing that you could fight? Like, why would you build pyramids specifically just for hunting? So it's stupid, but it's fun stupid because they just fighting the aliens. It's like, that's kind of neat versus a girl walking around with her little tomahawk thingy and the Predator shoots himself at the end. The Predator shoots himself at the end. Sorry.
That's how he's defeated.
I got an idea. Maybe he shoots himself.
I mean, a Predator has a log fall on him because he doesn't pay attention to a tripwire, but it's whatever.
No, he went around. There was 2 traps in that movie. The first one was to deceive him. It was a decoy. Yeah. That's because Schwarzenegger is smart and strong. So my number 4 is AVP, which is still a garbage movie, but it's a garbage movie that is kind of fun because there's aliens fighting each other and predators fighting. So there you go.
Okay, Charlie.
I don't even know. All right. You guys got me all messed up here. So this is going to be my number 4, and it's nothing to do with I didn't enjoy the movie or how much I appreciated what we got out of it.
Disclaimers.
Yeah, disclaimer.
I
ladies and gentlemen, pray.
Pray. It is. Number 4
Why
is
do you
Prey.
gotta do a disclaimer? It's trash.
Because
it's okay.
I don't think it's trash. Right. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
5 out of 10.
I actually ended up rating it a 9 after the day after we watched it because I really enjoyed the hell out of it. After watching multiple views and watching the other movies leading up to this, I'm down to about an 8. Honest, if I'm being honest about it, especially with rewatchability, the reason why my ranking is below, the movies that are going to follow this strictly comes down to rewatchability and the movie itself. Prey was fun, and I still gets pissed me off when people are like, how did she beat the Predator? She was, she's just a chick. Her brother beat the fucking Predator as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and
he jumped off that horse and stabbed him with a fucking spear. That dude was barely mobile by the time he got done in that fight. Not only that, he got stabbed in the foot, which is the most ow moment in the movie when those other Comanches hit him in the foot. That would suck. I don't care what species you are. He doesn't regenerate. When he's actually like trying to mend himself, you're like, yeah, this dude's messed up. It's how it makes it believable that she survives at the end because she has learned that with hunting is exactly that. You are going out to hunt something to test whether you're capable of it, unless you're going for food. The Predator is hunting. So why doesn't he have a laser cannon? Why doesn't he destroy everything? Why doesn't he just absolutely eviscerate the entire population? Because that's not the goal. The goal is to hunt. The goal is to test your mettle against what you are hunting. It's why we have bow season in America, why we have gun season in America. I could go with a minigun, Blaine, and eviscerate every animal in the forest, but I don't. That's not hunting. The Predator is hunting. I attribute this younger feral one, call him what you want. There are different types of predators. There's a name for them, and I'm not going to fuck up the name. Sorry, Sludge. Yautja. But this one was, we're not going to give you all this shit. You get to pick from the lower end of the hunting because these people are not advanced. These people fight with sticks and stones. You have to go up against that. And that's why we have a shield. That's why we have arrows that come out instead of laser blasts, because we would all be sitting here going, what the fuck, man? He's just going to destroy everything. And he's not a great predator, but he's also 300 years ago before the Predator that fought Schwarzenegger. He's 300 years before anything we've seen that's happened. So I like Prey. It was an awesome movie. I enjoyed the hell out of it. It was better than any of the AVPs. It was better than the Predator. I had fun with it. I loved all the little ends, the little nods, all that shit. I didn't give a fuck. I loved it. The entire ash scene where they're tied to a tree where it's all smoky and shit, that is straight up the warehouse fight from Predator 2. When he looks at his fingers and sees ash is the same thing as when the Predator looks and sees the stuff that they've been putting, the phosphorus or whatever, in the air. It's a complete remake of the meat processing plant. And I loved every second of it. But the brother actually killed him. She finished him off. Just like what happened with the mountain lion. She hurt it. He finished it off. He hurt the predator. She finished it off. And we can talk more about, the actual end of it and where it all goes. And yes, they made a movie about a gun, essentially, to keep us happy. And if you didn't watch the animation as it went through, you missed that part, didn't you, Owen?
I did the first time. Yeah, now I've seen it twice more. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's quite a big thing. So, yeah make sure you watch all the credits. I also, one thing I meant to mention was I like how whenever he first arrives on the planet, he starts small. It's like a snake. Yeah. It moves up to like I love the wolf, the fight with the wolf, and then up to the bear, and then up to the woman, and he's just going up the food chain basically. And,
it's like Nate and I said, he's got the little adventure guide. When he's out hiking, check that off. Okay, let me draw a picture of that. That was really cool. Danger Noodle. All right, we got it. We're good.
Danger Noodle, nailed it.
So this is Predator Begins or whatever. Like he got
pretty much.
It's 300 years ago.
As we know,
I will defend it. It's 300 years ago. It's not the same.
300 years ago as a species as well.
It's not interesting. It's like I don't want to see baby predator. Let's do the next one. Let's have baby predators versus handicapped children. So
I watch the hell out of Muppet Babies. I will watch the fuck out of baby predators. I would love that they take them on a field trip and they get lost in a field trip. And now you have the big predator that was the school teacher trying to find all the little fuckers running around murdering people because they don't have the same. You can't kill them without weapons. So they're just killing everyone. I would watch the hell out of baby predators. Make it. Do it. I'm in.
I just want to say
I've been drinking pretty good, so I'm all in right now.
I didn't like the gun callback. Because it's just another lazy thing in this.
Right.
Because I like it better in the Dark Horse comics where it was that pirate guy.
And then
he gives it to the predator when he's dying, right? But here it's like just passed over and it's like, okay, well, I guess they get it later or something. I don't know.
Movie creators are not making those movies for us, though. They're making them for people like my kid. Yeah. Anthony watched the hell out of this and he's like, this is awesome. But he's also seen the other Predator, and he's like, it's not as good as that one, because it just doesn't. My biggest thing was every time violence would happen, it was in the background or it was just out of focus. When it was bloody, but in the background. When they all got like tore apart off the horses, I'm like, that should have been amazing. No, we're watching these dudes looking through a spyglass and turn around going, what the hell just happened? I'm laughing, but I'm going, I wanted to see it all. Like I wanted to see the gore.
Wouldn't this movie be rated PG, like Prey? Like, I don't think anything bad happened in it. Like everyone's
literally see a man's head get cut off.
Well, that's
I don't know.
You literally see a man's head get piked to a tree.
That's the best
thing. In Canada, we have different. In Canada, nothing gets rated R in Canada.
No,
it's like,
you have to be really bad.
You have to be really bad. It has to be pornography. It has to be like
Canada. For could not. I'm pretty sure the Predator fought Archie. Was there not a Predator versus Archie?
Yeah. Archie versus
he's done it in
Batman.
Archie style.
Yeah, he fought Batman. The bear seems really what makes it R-rated, where he's literally bathing in the blood of the bear.
Of the bear,
but it wasn't AVP. It wasn't that shit. It wasn't where they were just making fun of the Predator movies with the Predator. So I had it cool. I like the skull looking mask too.
Yeah, I love having a
There is
mask.
A point where you go, I've seen it. Okay, how many different masks can we get? We'll get to that in a minute. But it gave me something where I'm like, oh shit, I kind of like that. Oh, all right, cool. It's still got some tech. But they don't explain it. This is where I think if they would be smart about it, they would go, maybe we should explain why he has the weapons he has. Nah, they'll figure it out, or they'll argue on a YouTube stream for 2 hours. And J-Man's blood pressure is going to go up. Charlie's going to laugh, turn the screen off, and scream, "No, Nate!" And that's what's going to happen the entire time.
If the Predator creature wasn't the Predator, then everyone would be like, this movie's trash. I solemnly believe that if it wasn't the Predator, If you CGI removed it and put a different CGI creature in there,
still be awesome.
It would be no way, dude. No way. No way. J-Man versus the Predator. Yeah. No way. I guarantee you, everyone would be like, "Oh, this is a dumb movie." 100%.
There's still plenty of people who don't like it anyway, though. I mean, the reaction is generally very mixed.
This is like split.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people love it. That's every movie these days, though. It's like nobody can ever just like or hate everything. It's sort of like
I don't hate it. I gave it 5 out of 10 by my rating system. That means it's a pass.
Yeah.
But it's lazy. It could have been much better. It's an interesting premise that they didn't do anything but the premise. It's literally the natives versus the Predator. That's it. Not one neat thing where you're like, oh, that was kind of cool. I didn't see that coming. It's like everything is by the book. It's like, oh, yep, next scene. Oh, she's got to learn now. Okay, she's practicing. Okay, good. Now she has to do something. Oh, good. Oh, her brother's going to do this. Oh, good. Oh, it's like, oh, it's like, where was something cool? We're like, oh, shit, I didn't think that was going to happen.
They call me when they do George Washington versus the Predator.
George Washington versus the Predator.
Teddy Roosevelt going on a hunting trip.
Abraham Lincoln, Predator killer.
Yeah. It'd actually be John Wilkes Booth.
All right, let's get to
just
the top
because,
three.
Nate. Just because.
Top three. So that's me. Well, I think our top 3 is mostly going to be the same. So number 3 is Predators. So Predators it's kind of just a bit too similar to the first movie, and I think there should have been more done to make the planet look more alien. It looked like Earth, and there could have been a few more things done there. But I did like the cast in it. I thought. I like Topher Grace's twist. I know some people don't, but I thought that was kind of cool. What's that guy's name? Oh shit, that guy's name I always forget. The guy is the criminal.
Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins steals the show. He has like the best lines, which I can't repeat on here or will get cancelled. And you know the line I'm talking about. I actually even like Adrian Brody as well, and I never thought I would believe him in a movie like this, but I thought he was awesome. Alice Braga was good too. Danny Trejo was a bit underused. He could have had a bigger role. I thought the scenes with Lawrence Fishburne kind of killed the pacing, and really that should have been once again Dutch or Harrigan instead. It should have just been somebody who we'd seen before. I think that was the whole point. I think it was in the original script, which I have somewhere. But I like what the upgrade John Debney does with Alan Silvestri's music. The score is really good. There's some good set pieces, some good gore. I actually would have loved a sequel to it because I want to see how they end up getting off the planet, if they ever did. That would have been cool. So yeah, I mean, doesn't break any new ground or whatever, but I thought it was a solid entry, and I like the sword fight as well in the grass. I thought that was kind of cool, something you hadn't seen before. People were like, yeah, that's silly, and I was like, yeah, it is, but who cares? So as a Predator movie, I enjoyed it. So Predators is my number 3. So Nate.
I'm right there with you. Predators is my number 3. Like, I absolutely love Adrian Brody. I think he's a phenomenal actor. That dude gets into character. Like, I know he was like sleeping in the woods before they were even filming this to get into the mindset. The cast of this is insane, especially for 2010. Like, you even got Mahershala Ali. I think that's how you pronounce it. He played Cottonmouth in Luke Cage. He's going to be the upcoming Blade.
Mahershala Ali.
Mahershala Ali. Yeah, Walter Coggins. Like, that might have been right before Justified or right as Justified was airing. I'm not quite sure.
I think it was right in the beginning of Justified.
Yeah. Danny Trejo is completely underutilized, which just sucks because it's produced by Robert Rodriguez. So I was hoping to get a little bit more of him, but I love the idea of them not taking them to their home plant, but them taking them to a plant that is Earth-like with like a tropical jungle,
hunting
but
ground.
then taking someone that is Yakuza, someone that is drug cartel, a mercenary, someone that's in the military, someone from, the African, I don't know what the official word is, but like that military branch, like, and seeing, and then having the Spetsnaz. Yeah, like taking all those, and then even having Lawrence Fishburne being a guy that's completely lost his mind, even though he's only been on that plant for like 7 days, because their hunting season is literally like every other day. And he says he's been there for like 3 seasons. So it's like, all right, dude, you've only been here for like a week and you already lost your mind. Like, you're the equivalent of the guy that got locked up in prison and instantly started putting chalk on the line on the wall. And they're like, dude, it's only been an hour. And he's like, I've been here for 15 days.
Shut down your Wi-Fi. Let's see what you say after that.
I already want to throw my modem all the time. But like, I think it's great. The Topher Grace twist of him being a serial killer, I think is awesome because it fits into these predators were picking and choosing, and they've done it before, and they know what is a challenge for them, and to bring them to their world to see how it works out, I think is awesome. And it meshes really well with the callbacks to the original. But it's like I said before, it's the same thing with like the original Predator. After you've done that story, where else can you really go with it? Yeah. So kind of not doing a remake, but doing a sequel. And it's the same thing. Like Arnold should have shown up, but it's the same thing. They keep lowballing him by offering him just a bit cameo. And he said many times, like, no, like I want more than that. I want like a fully fleshed out role if I'm into return to the role of Dutch. And like, no one does that for some reason. I don't know why.
I'd rather be a Terminator that sells drapes instead.
Yeah.
Don't. No. Nope.
I fixed that movie, but we don't have time to get into.
That could be maybe another one. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Continue. Are you done?
No, that's all I got.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Sean.
Oh, it's Predators. And I didn't know people didn't like that movie till maybe 2 or 3 years after, because I thought it was awesome. And then I was reading articles and like, oh, I guess people don't like Predators. It's like Die Hard 2. Like, I love that movie. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize people didn't like that movie till I was like 30 or something like that. I was like, oh, shoot. Yeah, no, it's awesome. I thought that it unpacked its surprises very well. It was a well-told script, lots of cool little details happen, one after the other. And all the different guys are introduced really well. I like the Yakuza guy. J-Man knows this when we saw it in the theater, and he does the showdown with the Predator. The audience cheered, really loudly.
Yeah,
like when the Predator falls, they're like, yeah. And then when he dies, they're like, oh, that was awesome. Like a golf clap or whatever. But that's the thing, that movie really draws you in. Like, you actually care about these characters. And that's something rare in these movies nowadays, because like they don't know how to create characters that you really actually, give a shit about. But yeah, no, I thought it was a really worthy successor to Predator, and I was surprised. It was like the third one. I hadn't realized at the time there had been like 20 years since part 2. But we had gotten 2 AVP movies as well. So but this is really awesome. So yeah, it's my number 3.
It's funny, these franchises which deserved more sequels that didn't get them. Like, we went all those years to set another Indiana Jones film. We could have had a couple of them in too, and then ended up giving us.
I think Harrison Ford and Spielberg were lazy, and they're like, oh, we don't care about these movies that much. We'll do one.
When you know you're gonna make money, it changes the dynamic. We'll make money whether we release it 10 years from now or 2 years from now.
They will. I think Harrison Ford's just so grumpy no matter what. Just getting him to do anything. Yeah.
Get off my movie set.
Get off my stream.
We're not even making a movie. We're here for dinner, Mr. Ford.
I'm your wife. So, J-Man,
yeah, Predators. It's a real Predator movie. Wow, we're finally at a real Predator movie. I gave this one a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's really good. I like how everything gets as Sean. Everybody's pointed out all the things I agree with. I nicked it a little bit on pacing, as Owen said. It kind of gets a bit dragged out because it starts out super fast. You're like, whoa, what's going on? What's going on?
It's amazing.
New character. Whoa, who's this guy, right? I will point out one negative. This is a J-Man negative where it's like
not real negative.
I wonder, is there administrative jobs in the Predator field? Because
hands down there is.
Who's the guy on Earth figuring out? Yeah, that's a serial killer. Okay. How do you know that, Mr. Predator? I just know it.
Well, that's what they use the invisibility for, and they're probably
they use the invisibility, and then they just stalk him for like 2 weeks.
Right. It's like Dexter. They hire There's like a Dexter Predator who like figures out who the serial killers are.
They have a whole National Geographic channel.
Right.
Yeah. One guy is hiding, taking pictures.
Take it right.
And that's what we all. And they're all on the Predator planet going. This. I love this show. This
Earth is a reality TV show to them.
It totally is.
It's gonna suck when we get canceled.
Yeah, the Predator comes up. He's like, "Oh, I've got this guy's in Spetsnaz." It's like, no, stop it. The last 3 you've given us are just haven't survived. No, this guy's really good. Give me a shot. Okay, bring him in. It's like the Running Man. They're trying to figure out who to pick, right?
That's it. It's Damon going through, going, no, I don't want that guy. He sees that one guy running across the screen.
Yeah,
ooh, tell me about that guy right there.
Get that Adrian Brody fellow. He's really good. Yeah. So I mean, that's the stuff I think about when I overanalyze everything. But at least they're each like for me, you need to keep one upping the thing. So if you got Schwarzenegger as your main guy, you can't bring him back. You need to, and you couldn't get him back for part 2. You have to do something more. So in this one, they're like, okay, let's say we get one representative of all of the elite fighters that we've heard of. So at least that's something. And that's why the next one, it's like scientists and then natives and then loony bin guys. Like it just kept getting worse for me, right? So this one still is like, okay, Adrian Brody, he's skinny, but he's believable. He's very tough. He's very crafty.
He is jacked as well.
He's based off of what actual like Rangers and stuff look like these days compared to back then. Like they're more lean and cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's smart and he's crafty. He's like, look, I'm a survivalist. I don't give a shit about any of this crap, So I liked all that. It was good. And you know what? I liked it. They got stuck on the planet because how would they have gotten off? Like this, like, let's get to the ship, really? And I do think they brought new things in. They had the other creatures too, but they also had a little bit of like, that one predator, they didn't like him. They're like, oh, this guy's kind of against us. So they tied him up and stuff like that. And I like the idea of trying to make an alliance somehow and be like,
an allegiance. I like that whole thing. Yeah.
That was neat. Right.
Like
so they tried something.
Yeah. You get the river ghosts and predators. And that was a Van Damme unused creature in the original.
Yeah, it was.
I remember that.
I didn't pick up on that, honestly.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
I watched it.
The lobster.
Awesome.
It's the lobster.
Awesome. So yeah, they tried. They aimed higher. I like the idea was drop these guys on this planet. That's their idea. But then they did more with it. Oh, what if there's a guy who's already been on it? I love the cycle thing because it's like he's like, I've been here maybe 3, 4, 5. He goes up to 10 cycles at one point. I'm like, well, how long has that been? And then it's like they drop the next batch. I'm like, okay, what the hell? And that's only on second viewing because first viewing I didn't catch that. When I watched it again, I was like, oh my God, wait a minute. This guy's been here for nothing. He's been here for a few days. He's literally insane. It's like, I don't know. It was a neat movie.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Blaine?
It's Predators, man. This goes down to the rewatchability for me was why it beat out Prey is I will watch Predators before I'll watch Prey again. I will watch Prey, but I have my order. And I love just what we've all talked about. Adrian Brody, I totally buy it. He looks more. Let's get something straight, guys. Most military guys don't look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. They don't move very fast. They're not very, stealthy out in the wild. So, like female Predator or female Klingon. That's a tough one because those female Klingon chicks were pretty awesome that loved Riker in Next Generation. I like those girls. But I loved the characters. Danny Trejo is underused, but where else would you really use him for? He's got to die. And the way they use him to set the trap and you get his voice that the Predator's mimicking, cool. I love all that. And they shoot him while he's dead. Amazing stuff. I'm a fan of anything Walter Goggins. I don't care what he does. He can read the back of the shampoo container and I'll watch that movie. I don't care.
Even the unicorn?
Yeah, anything. I will watch. I loved what was it? Not Bad Santa, but the Santa Claus movie he's in with Mel Gibson.
Oh, Fat Man.
Fat Man.
Oh yeah.
Loved him in that.
Me too,
loved that movie. And the Topher Grace thing at the end is amazing. You kind of figure out pretty early on that there's something going on with him, but it's the moment when you find out Brody is known the whole time and he goes, "You're such a good man." And he's like, "No, I'm fast," and shoves that thing up through his face. You could have ended the movie there. I wouldn't have cared about the final fight with the Predators. Nothing. Topher Grace was the Predator. That was kind of the whole gist of the movie. Just because it's an alien, that's not really a predator. We have collected predators from your planet that you don't even realize exist among you, right. And we've brought them here and this is where I get my theory with Prey is they go at this as a hunting thing. Yeah, we could nuke the fucking planet and they're dead. Where's the fun in that? Let's go like the whole Yakuza scene. Why would he sword fight? because he can,
Yeah.
and because he's trained for
honor thing as well.
That was the one he picked. If you think about it that way, each of the Predators possibly could have picked who they wanted on the planet.
That one's mine.
Yeah, that's my guy. Don't fucking touch him.
Yeah.
You know, the whole thing running through. None of them picked Topher Grace. They left him to fuck with the other people and just really kind of.
This is literally their hunting trip away from work.
Yeah.
You know, this is what the Predators hunting trip is.
They have office jobs too.
They have sandwiches.
Someone took their stapler.
They had
it's been a rough week. They can't wait to go to the campsite for the weekend with the boys. Get away. You know,
who parked the car? We need to know who's
going to park the spaceship at all times. Who brought enough water bottles for everyone?
Dave didn't bring enough beer. That's him
why
to
we
the
tied him up.
Tree. Exactly. Yeah. But I like what J-Man said. We made an alliance. That made sense on how to get off the planet. But here's the problem. Here's what we're running into here. With this movie, like you said, I didn't know people hated this movie. I didn't know there's people that didn't like it. It's those fucking people that went, it was just like Predator. It was just like Predator. Well, then you give them something else like Prey. It's not like Predator, though. It's not like this, though. We gave you Predator and you didn't like it. Well, no, that's not what I want. I want this, but not be this and not. We don't fucking know what you want half the time. It's the whole Star Wars mentality. They don't. This movie, I love it. You know, Nate knows we all talk about it in the group chat. Me and, you know, all the boys love this movie. We all went and rewatched it as soon as we knew we were doing this. And that's why it bumped Prey for me. Originally, I was like, I think Prey might be a little bit better till I rewatched it and went, fuck, this movie's great. I can turn this movie on and just watch it anytime, any point of the movie. Lawrence Fishburne is the slow part, but you kind of need it. I do like the whole thing where they figured out how to set it off the fire. And it's like, that didn't do anything. Oh, it did. I called in reinforcements. I was like, fuck, I love that. I love that whole aspect of that. You know, the traps left by the other dead guy. I like that whole end up. There was the whole Predator from the first one, right? But that dude didn't make it, you know, so it was just happened chance that Arnold won. If you look at it that way, they picked this guy and he lost. Predator, that's a CPA on. That's it. That's what Nate was saying in the live stream was we should have, you know, it's just, you have the guy on the hunting expedition and he's just right. You know, he had the bird watching binoculars. Oh, that's a nice bird. I checked that one off. There we go. We got all this. I killed that one. I got some skins.
Yeah. They're a very civilized society.
I like it. Yep. All right. I'm done. Yep. That was me.
Okay, so number 2, whatever could it be, is Predator 2. Actually, I'm going to be honest, it's actually quite close because I fucking love Predator 2. And Predator 2 has my favorite scene of the entire franchise, and that's a subway scene when everyone takes out the guns. And Alan Silvestri's score is probably the best of the series in this one. It's just bombastic and exciting. And this movie is just constant action from beginning to end. So, like, yeah, it's maybe not the horror aspect, but we had that in the first one. This continues on the story and does its own thing and continues the lore by where you see the Predators at the end and handing the gun and everything, which is awesome, and setting up the AVP movies, which may or may not be a good thing. But yeah, I mean, Danny Glover's character, he's not an especially likable character. He's very stubborn and he just keeps wanting to get involved in everything, even though he doesn't really need to. Because Gary Busey's Keys is actually really quite reasonable, and he's like, "Look, just stay at this and let us take this." And he's like, "No, fuck you!" And you're like, really, he's being quite reasonable. There's a reason for that, but yeah, King Willie versus Predator. I love all that. That was that 5 minutes in Hollywood when the Jamaicans were the bad guys and did March for Death and everything.
I was gonna say March for Death.
Sean knows I love the Jamaicans, man. That's like, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, they had to do that because he had dreads, and they were like, "Is he Jamaican?" No, he kills those two.
Dude. I know. Oh, dude. Oh.
But yeah, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I love the cast. I love Bill Paxton as well, being just at his Bill Paxton best. Hey, you're not my sister. I just love that. And I like how Predator doesn't kill Maria Conchita Alonso when she's pregnant. I love the want some candy. I just I say that all the time. Whenever I have a bag of candy, I'm like, want some candy? And people just look at me like I'm creepy. Normally because I'm not wearing pants, but whatever. But yeah, I love this movie. I think it's great. I don't really understand why people don't like it. It's constant action. It gets started straight away. I even love the opening shot.
I like it.
Where it moves over the well, you think it's the jungle, but then it opens up and it's the urban jungle. I love just that whole opening shot.
Yep.
And there's just a feeling of absolute chaos through it, that it's just really dangerous, and they really do the transfer from the jungle to the urban jungle really nicely. So yeah, Predator 2 is fucking awesome. So there we are. Hold on, just a couple of comments here. It's aged so well, like a fine wine. Danny kicks ass. Yeah. When he walks out of the car with a bunch
Too
of
old for this shit.
Well, a fitting demise for the Prince of Powder.
Yeah. Hardcore.
People are wrong. PJ is correct.
See, Pete's on my side, Nate.
I didn't say it was bad. I said from 4 on, it's where they get good.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I sort of love all of them. The same. These ones, I watch them all. And Prey, I am going to watch regularly. I mean, I've already watched it 3 times in the space of like 2 weeks, so that says something. So
Same.
I mean,
a lot of us have rated these because we've watched them multiple times. You know, it's except for AVP. And
I need to watch a film several times before I can really appreciate it. I mean, that's what I've said. I always say before, I hate whenever I have to give something like a star rating or whatever, because maybe I was in a bad mood the first time I watched it, or maybe the sound wasn't good. Maybe there was someone loud and annoying in the cinema or whatever else, and there's something that affects your opinion. So that's why I hate giving star ratings to things. So I like to watch it a couple of times before I, have a proper idea of it. So I give it 3.5 out of 5, which I stand by. I still think there's enough there which I like, but I'm gonna let Nate say why he likes it so much right now.
No, he Predator 2 is like his number 5 or something.
That's one.
Yeah. No.
Number 4.
No, I know this is number 2.
I thought you said let him know why you like Predator 2.
No. Pray.
Number 2 is Predator. It is. Yeah. You gotta throw nostalgia out the window. You have to.
You're saying
nostalgia makes no sense. Prey is way better than Predator 2.
What? What the fuck?
We'll get into that when we get to Prey. Nah, Predator's fantastic. It's the movie we all watched when we were kids that we absolutely loved, that our dad showed us. My dad always had a great story when he was in the Army.
What age are you?
Do what?
What age are you?
I am 34. Turning 34.
He's a baby.
Yeah, I'm a baby.
He's millennial trash.
Yeah, I am. So my dad was in the Army, and he was, overseas when this movie had came out, and him and his unit or whatever got to see this and then be in the field the next day. And it was always one of those stories of oh man, I can't imagine seeing this in theaters over in Germany and then being out in the woods the next day. What the hell's out there right now? The fact you get Carl Weathers, we get Jesse Ventura, which every kid is a big wrestling fan. Bill Duke, it's a fun ass movie.
My crotch.
But my favorite part of Predator is the entire last third act, where it's it doesn't matter how macho or how much guns you have. It's going back to being primitive to fight this creature. The fact that you have to use a homemade bow, the fact that you're using these homemade traps and, whittling down sticks and creating traps and the false log to stop them. That's why I was so excited for Prey, it was going back to basics, which is exactly what it takes to kill a predator. That first reveal of the face, with the mandibles out, that is something that just sticks with you in movie history, no matter what. Arnold being up against something that is much more violent than him. And, this is kind of like a Friday the 13th movie, but against macho people. There could be the argument that's made, though, with it being from the 80s, that it still hasn't, it hasn't aged bad, but there's parts of it, the whole raid scene against the village. I mean, the Suicide Squad did that same exact scene almost, the latest one. So, this movie Predator is still... Yeah, exactly. What I'm saying, though, is, with today's technology and the better practical effects and stuff like that, and just the way that we, shoot movies these days with cinematography and lighting, we have found ways to, improve upon what Predator laid the blueprints for.
Did they roll a truck full of bombs into the cafeteria? No.
They had a kill off.
Predator did. Was Fennel Thorson in the base? No. Predator he was.
Nah, Predator's a fantastic movie. There's no doubt about that. We all love Predator for a reason, You're fine. It's probably one of the best, probably my second favorite Arnold movie.
You're fired.
Yeah, whatever.
So J-Man.
Sean was next.
Oh, sorry, Sean. Yeah, Sean.
That's how bad you fucked it up, Nate. Look at that. We don't even know who's next.
Good.
It's a W on my screen.
Yeah. So Predator 2 is my number 2. Look, we've all said it's wicked. It's very 1990, but I think that's what makes it so much better now. Back then, I feel like it was kind of just one of the movies, right? And it was, oh yeah, I was seeing this kind of over the top kind of thing before. Now it's like, oh my god, it looks refreshing, you know. And the aesthetics at the time too. It's like I love those color gels that they must have put on the lights and everything. And the way that like the Predator looks amazing in this movie. And there's that great trailer shot of the lightning striking him, and it's like that's used in everything. That's even used in AMC's Monster Month or whatever. It's used all the time. The Predators at the end look outstanding. Like all of them are wicked. I love the attitude of it. That attitude and the whole honor thing at the end is wicked. It's just a great change of pace from part 1. And it tried to do something different, which 3 and Prey just didn't do. I mean, they clung right back to the basics, and as much as we love those movies for that, I love Predator 2 for trying to do something different yet the same. It's still a hunter, but in a different environment. And like, you know, a Predator in the city is a great idea. So yeah.
Great. Okay, J-Man.
So obviously my top 2 are Predator 1 and 2. For me, they both rank the same, except that I like one. I just like one for the enjoyment factor. I like one more than the other. So my number 2 is Predator 1. So Predator 2 will be my favorite, but Predator 1 is an amazing movie. Schwarzenegger's my hero. You know that. That's my first tattoo. I read his book. Predator 1 is an amazing movie that is absolutely done perfectly. Introduction of all the characters. Well, we heard you were the best. Okay, well, how good are you? We're so good that we literally destroy everybody in this thing. We take everybody out. Don't even take a scratch. You're like, oh, that first hour, super important because it's a show, not a tell. They first tell you that they're the best and they show you why they're the best. Then you're like, it becomes another movie. You almost got 2 movies in Predator 1. The second movie is like this horror movie. First one's pure hardcore action. Second one's a horror movie. Like, there's some creature out there. We don't know what it looks like. That's suspenseful. And you're just like, they just killed all these super buffed guys. Like, this is impossible. Like, nobody can beat this thing. I really believe that. Can Schwarzenegger really win? And he kind of almost doesn't win. Like the Predator, like he wins, but it's like in wrestling, it's like one of those just, you know, it's like, did he win? Kind of, yeah. It was a kind of a weird count. It was like a weird 3 count, you know. I don't know. It's a genius movie. Just like obviously the music and the cinematography and all that stuff is too. And the jungle, it's crazy. And yeah, the Predator looks awesome. When he's like, when you saw that face, you're like, oh goddamn. And it's like that's one of the best face reveals. Like I love Friday 13 Part 7, but like that Predator face reveal, man, you're just like, oh damn! I remember as a kid thinking, holy shit! Like what the hell is it? It was the most alien thing, Stan Winston. It's the most alien thing I could have thought of. It's like that and the Alien, and maybe Kane from Predator or from RoboCop 2, and like Boba Fett, like are probably like my 4 favorite looking things. Like the Predator's one of the most awesome creatures that we've ever seen.
One of my favorite movie characters.
yeah. And that's the reveal of it. And you're like, whoa, it's an awesome movie, man. And Schwarzenegger wins by smart. I like that he was tough and strong, but he did win also by intelligence. They didn't just say, oh, it's Schwarzenegger, so he's got to beat this thing up and win. He wins by using his brains. So that is good. I happen to just like the other one a bit more because I've watched it more. And I had it as a kid on VHS. And I had the poster and soundtrack and all that. So I'll get to it when it's my number 1.
But also nothing sounds better than this. I just love the roar of the Predator. It's just such a great roar.
So yeah.
Okay, Blaine.
It's Predator 2, man. And that I'm kind of with J-Man. It's a tough thing to do. I've never been like one to me is better than the other, but I have to. There's a reason why one is one for me, but Predator 2, as a kid that grew up reading comic books, when you watched Predator, okay, I've now seen you in the jungle. I want to see you somewhere else. The next step is to go, let's go urban jungle. It was just like we were just following these little chapters or short stories of the Predator's journey. I didn't care if Dutch was mentioned at all in this movie. He's mentioned briefly, but I just loved the fact we were in a different setting, a different hero, a different Predator, a whole new dynamic on the thing. This movie starts out frantic. I love the opening shot, but then we are dropped right into the middle of a gang war. You know, the whole thing with the Scorpio is ready. You know, my man Chico over there loading up because he's about to die. You know, because Chico dies all the time. Poor Chico, rest in peace, Chico. But you get this whole thing before the Predator even shows up, and then the Predator shows up immediately, dropping through that skylight, and you knowing what you know from the first one, going, "Oh shit, this is amazing." Drop in, eviscerate everyone, evade. We get the invisible with Danny Glover on the rooftop, which establishes Danny Glover being scared as fuck as heights, which works throughout the rest of the movie. It never feels force-fed to you that he doesn't like heights. He's just like, fuck, I don't like heights. You go through this whole movie, and then we get like, okay, now we're at the police station. It's chaos. It's like RoboCop. Just everyone was in the police station. No one knows what's going on. You're introduced to Bill Paxton. You're like, motherfucker, it's Bill Paxton. Why'd he just walk past him? All this stuff, Maria, all these people. I love every character that is involved with the crew that as this movie goes through. Then we get titties bouncing out of nowhere, which as 13 or 14-year-old me, when dad's like, yeah, we can watch Predator 2. And he goes, oh shit, I forgot about that part. And she going to town, and we watching the Jamaicans do it what you expect the Predators to do: hang the dude upside down, cut parts out of him. And the Predator didn't even fuck with that dude. Like, he went and skinned other guys, left that dude, the Cuban guy, hanging there. You're like, damn, this guy's like on a mission. He knows what he's doing. I love everything about it. The subway scene is amazing. The flashing lights where you don't really know what's going on. After the subtle comedy in this movie of everyone's got a fucking gun on the subway, all that shit happens. And then it's just light speed. Once Danny Glover and the hunter or the Predator are on each other's scent, it is nonstop. You throw in Gary Busey in a movie, I'm fucking in, period. I love Gary Busey in this movie. You got a Baldwin in this movie. It's
Robert
just
Davi as well.
Yeah, all this fun. Gary Busey gets cut in half. I still think his upper torso is still hanging there somewhere because I'm like, did he get stuck on a hook? Because everything falls out of him.
You did see that, but it was cut for the censors because it was apparently like super gory, so they had to they cut that bit out where you saw it.
But I love, just even when you had to cut away from the gore, there was still a ton of gore.
Oh yeah.
The apartment sequence where he has to go up the side of the building, crashes in through. The old lady's funny as fuck. I don't think he gives a shit when that Predator takes off running through the apartment and Jeopardy's playing in the background. I mean, that's just awesome. And then I get to see the ship. We are on the fucking ship. There's just mist. Then we see an alien skull, and every person lost their damn mind. I don't know who would have not been like, holy fuck, that was an alien. They're in the same universe. What the shit? Kills the alien, kills the Predator just because he had the blade. It wasn't like he overpowered the Predator. He outsmarted him. And then more Predators come out. For the first time ever on screen, you're like, holy shit, there's like 6 or 7 of these motherfuckers just walking out of the mist. And what's Danny Glover do? He puts the disc down and goes, who's next?
Yeah.
That
sounds like you're describing the #1 Predator movie, because that's what's gonna. It's like
I should explain where #1's gonna be for me.
Oh
and we'll get there.
I'm like thinking like. I have things to say that you didn't say, but
that's fine. That's fine. That's cool as long as we all cross over. But then you see the chieftain throw the pistol at him, and you're like, "Fuck, these guys have been here forever," and it's just this whole thing. And they're like, "Here's the gun. Good luck getting out of the ship before we launch." And he comes out covered in dust. He is gray, but he's also looking at it like, this dude's been through some shit. I'd be gray too. And he just looks at the gun, looks at everybody else, and he's like, I'm too old for this shit. That's all I needed at the end of this movie. That's it. But Predator 2 is #2, man.
The hilarious thing is he was only in his 40s then. There was like,
I know, I'm 42. Do I look like that? Do
You're
I look
too old for this shit.
I am too old for this shit, though, so I get it now. I understand it more than ever. Just go catch up with some of these comments here. I feel like
everybody's going nuts in the group chat.
Too, that they didn't have it when it came out. It always got compared to the first, but you can appreciate.
That's because I was 10. I didn't get to appreciate this movie till I was like 14 or 15 when Dad let me watch it.
Predator 2 first before I saw Predator 1.
I was I was about 12 or 13, so I was about the right age. I remember somehow I think it got re-released or something because I saw a double bill. How's this for a double bill? Predator 2 and Point Break.
Oh, nice.
That would have been a fun night.
Oh, that was the greatest night ever. So that was awesome because the Point Break was 1991. So I don't know, but I saw them both anyway. I don't know.
But that was common back in the day. You know, it may not have even been on VHS by that point.
No, maybe not. But I had the poster because someone mentioned there. I love the tagline. He's in town with a few days to kill. I love
the poster.
It's such an amazing tagline for a movie. That's here. One of the greatest monster design in the history of film. Yeah, maybe my favorite monster design, actually. Yeah.
And what most people don't realize is James Cameron has a hand in it because he was sitting on the plane next to Stan Winston when it was happening. He goes, "You know what I've always wanted to see on an alien? Mandibles." And Stan Winston just starts sketching a predator.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with all the time, Take on John Carpenter's A Thing. It bombed at the theater and was lamented by the press, but it's since been praised as one of the greatest horror films of all time.
Audience was not ready for that back in what, 83?
Yeah, but that's the issue. It's like, you know, this is what is it, Nate? The whole Marty McFly thing. He's like, this might be too much for you guys, but your kids are gonna love it.
Yep, exactly.
You know, that whole thing. You know.
I don't know if you would like to better son about that. Yeah, I know. But yeah, I'm very close. I mean, 2 I watched.
Even.
But I watched 2 more. If I think I want to watch one, I watch the second one because I'm looking for quick thrills and I just want to see shit exploding, guts flying everywhere, tits, and you know.
Out of nowhere.
I don't know. Just give me that.
That's my enjoyment factor. Like I just enjoy it a bit more than Predator 1. So that's literally that 0.5 difference or whatever in the. You know.
Predator 2 is adapted from the comic Concrete Jungle, but done fantastically. It's okay, I'm a cop. I don't think he gets a shit yet.
Yep, I love that whole thing.
Yeah, Morton Downey was.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Morton Downey Jr. in there. I mean, come on.
Yeah, kind of right. Yeah,
Pete's nailed it right there.
It's almost like just a continuation of the story. To me, it's just like one movie, basically. So
yeah.
And I got to go back and watch 2. Here, it just makes me value it more. One of the best way. Yeah, do it, Jimmy. The lost tribe. Okay, so number 1. For me, it's Predator. What a surprise! Big shock for everyone. But well,
you. You
maybe
son of a bitch.
It's not quite that big, but you know,
maybe the greatest movie handshake of all time.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Not going to be topped by anybody.
I use that GIF everywhere.
Me too.
Constantly.
I probably shouldn't use it at work, but I do. But yeah, I mean, Predator is just, you know, nearly a perfect movie. You got the macho testosterone-filled characters at the beginning, and they're all one-liners and badassery, and then they just get killed like they're nothing. All their big guns and everything else just means absolutely nothing, and they're all terrified. And I kind of like. I thought, just going back to Prey for a second, that it was a nice idea going back to the native idea because you got Billy, and it sort of feels like a sort of a throwback to him and everything. Okay, that's kind of cool. And I love the character of Billy. So I love all of the characters, and that's why Predator 1 is the first. Is that all of the characters are so memorable, like Mac, Blaine, Billy, all these guys. They're all great characters. It's got the build up with the tension, but you got some action scenes as well, like the knock knock, stick around, and all these like great action movie quips where you're seeing these guys like total badasses against humans, and then as they meet the real nemesis, they're no match for it at all. So Alan Silvestri's score, amazing. I love Arnie's introduction where he's just like on the helicopter with the cigar, just so fucking cool. It's like there's nobody cooler than that. But yeah, it's just awesome. I love the ending. I love his battle cry, holding the torch, and then just the final showdown with the Predator. I mean, just awesome movie. Absolutely love it. So that's my number 1. Okay, Nate, you have gone
Prey's number one. It is like it's a better movie all around.
Insane.
It is. The cinematography is great. I could not believe they found land like that has not been ruined by man. Blew my mind.
It's
yeah,
Canada.
like
It's 5 minutes up the road.
Gorgeous.
Look at us.
We're the nice apartment above the meth lab.
I'm on the 22nd floor.
We are the meth lab who just can't stop shooting one another.
Anyway,
all the characters are fantastic.
really?
Showing this Comanche warrior who is wanting to prove themselves that she is a better hunter, watching this predator go up the food chain, him fighting that wolf is so incredible. Him getting down on its level and trying to see with it. And like when that wolf gets that first bite is badass. We're talking about a predator that isn't the predator from the first one. This is 300 years earlier. So of course he is not going to be as well advanced. Like just like we have advanced, their society has as well. That's what I loved about it. That's what I loved about him using arrows, because this also makes sense that a predator would probably bring lighter technology for the thrill of the hunt. This could be the first time they've ever came to Earth for all we know. I like that it keeps the details vague. Just the fact of how many people were pissed off, like, what do you mean a woman's going to fight these against a bunch of macho men? Sarah Connor was a waitress and killed a robot. That does not matter whatsoever. You know, I do not give a shit. Throw that misogyny out the window. And then on top of that, representation matters. This movie gives us representation of Comanche warriors, which is what Billy is in the first one. So there's no doubt about it that maybe the tale of what happens in Prey is passed along to him at some point. And that's why when he is looking in the woods going, I don't think it's human, because he kind of has a little bit of backstory knowledge there now. That's what this movie fleshes out. The violence is fantastic. All the blood spray is killer. Having that like awesome ass shield.
Yeah.
You just said that Predator 2 also cuts away a certain blood because of the like, you know. So
yeah, after it cut some dude in half, it cut away because the sensors went no.
No, but the best part of Predator is the very end where of Arnold going against this with just sticks. And that's what
You're not wrong.
Prey
You're not
does.
wrong about that.
Prey goes, you know what? Let's capitalize on this. And to say that, oh, this Predator's, you know, dumb. No, like he's feral, so he's a little bit more wild. He throws a fucking bear trap at someone's face. That is badass.
I did like that. I did
cuts,
like that.
He uses the net on someone. You see all their guts just fall underneath them as they're getting sucked into the net. And on top of that, all the Comanche warriors kick some ass in this. Like all of them do. You got the one that gets them in the foot, like Charlie said. Like
that would suck.
Yeah, like it would suck, but then they instantly get cut in half, and you see this brutal, like getting stuck to a tree. I don't know, just everything about the movie is fantastic. Like,
yeah,
I absolutely love it. It made me feel like I had never seen a Predator movie before. To me, this is the movie that kids that are going to watch this in 30 years from now, when they are live streaming from their mind, ranking their Predator movies, this is going to be the movie that sticks out to them. Like, it comes in at a crisp hour and a half. You get a nice 45 minutes of build up. That bear fight versus the Predator is incredible. It is so badass to see a bear fight a Predator. I will take any animal fighting a Predator at this point now. Like, and that's what's great is now we all have these endless possibilities. In Charlie and I's live stream, one of our buddies, Mark, said, I want to see a Western. I'm down to see a 6-shooter. We've all now been hearing people talk about, let's make it a samurai thing. Pete saying Vikings. This just opened the door where, like we have said, after Predator 1 and 2, you really can't go much further with this story device. So why not have it to where we're just hitting up different pieces? Give me a Predator fighting a Nazi. If he is just going around in World War II slaughtering Nazis, I will be so damn happy.
As long as he wins in the end.
Well, he's going to win, obviously.
I want to see him win.
Because we always see the Predator lose. That would be the one where the Predator comes back with just a shit ton of skulls.
Like he
just got like a backpack of them.
Yeah, I want a hero Predator movie, basically.
Yeah, that's what my idea is. Like have it on the alien planet or whatever, and it's the Predator's the hero, and he's a young blood, and he sort of comes of age and becomes a proper hunter predator. That's
I'm for the Western one, so we get the rotating minigun. You know, so you get that tiny little throwback to Blaine, but it's now the guy cranking in the background
or something.
Yeah, it's on a wagon. I'd watch it.
her brother is fantastic. I love seeing like how everyone works off one another and just seeing the Frenchies get completely disposed because they're not fully understanding because they're not good hunters. They are
the French.
Poachers. Nah, I got nothing against the French. They got baguettes.
Fucking bouche.
But they're poachers, so they don't know how to really hunt. They only know how to ambush, which is exactly what they try to do to him, and it doesn't work. And the fact that even him like shooting himself like and not knowing his own technology, I don't think it's that. I think he's just pissed off at this point. And like all of us have gotten pissed off by hitting our thumb with a hammer or stubbing something. You don't think straight. So after this dude's accidentally cut off his arm and then getting stuck into a swamp, he's not thinking straight. He's just like, I want to kill this person. This person gave me a big wound. Fuck this person.
You make good points, Nate. You make
that all might be accurate, but it's unexciting.
No, it was fully exciting because the whole time when you see her brother jump and just stab that spear in, that is one of the biggest fuck yeah moments in modern movie history.
And really, really wounds the predator.
Really does.
Yeah.
But she is the one that able to like finish it off. And just that like coming back with the blood all on her face, just tossing it like, did that.
This is the first time we've seen someone take a predator head, though, and I like that.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they take as a trophy. Now we're watching humans, Comanches, we're told that's their trophies too, and drop that predator head. And I'm like, oh, I'm down for that.
But like,
I did enjoy
even
that.
like this movie of how much buzz it's gotten, it's the most popular movie on Hulu to debut, right? And I'm not saying that, I'm just saying this is number one because it's popular right now. That's like, I genuinely loved it, but like this brought me back to feeling like a kid watching Predator. And that's exactly what I wanted from these movies. Like anything, it's just like Mad Max Fury Road. To me, it's the best Mad Max movie because it gave me everything I was wanting out of this movie. I mean, for the most part, you're dealing with what, probably 85% practical effects as well. Like, you know, some of the CGI is just that predator jumping around in the tree. You have to CGI that. There's no way of how quick he's moving that you can do that.
They didn't have Van Damme.
Yeah, that's the problem.
They needed more Van Damme in this.
So yeah,
look,
that's
this comes down to everyone likes stuff differently, and it affects people differently.
And what I think
that's
is
the
great,
beauty of what we do.
This
here.
opens up. I've talked to people who do not care about the Predator franchise at all, but Prey made them go, "I want to know more." And like,
yeah, so that's not good. That means it's not a Predator movie.
No, it means like,
right?
oh,
it's
shit,
like I hate all the Friday 13th
more.
movies, but I like this one. Well, then it's not a Friday 13th movie because you should not like it.
Like, Jason,
I think he's saying that someone that never saw it, but watched
that's
this,
like,
now
they
not
your
know
typical
more.
Predator fan, but when they watch this
and then they're going to watch the next
more.
ones and hate them because it's not the same as this.
Exactly.
You can't hate the other.
You're not going to hate it, but you're going to be like, oh shit.
Okay,
that's why I feel like it's a better movie.
Hate the others. I want to ask one question though, and I'm not picking on J-Man or anything, but I'm just got to ask her: what mindset did you go into watching Prey?
I go into every movie thinking it's going to be awesome because I want it to be awesome,
okay.
and I'm going to buy it on Blu-ray and 4K anyways. Right? I despise all the Zack Snyder movies. I'm going to buy it, so I don't want to spend money on movies I despise, which I've done with like fucking half the shit back here.
I know.
So I'm going to buy it anyways. My thing is that I'm underwhelmed with that movie.
And that's what I get, but you still gave it a 5. So we have to remember that you still gave it a 5. Right. I was just curious because I know a lot of the people that we've read their comments and shit has always been like, it's going to suck. Of course it sucked. That's because you went into a mindset saying it was going to suck.
Yeah. Like
it's never going to be
just being like a Debbie Downer.
About an hour into it, I thought, wow, this is actually really good. And then I realized like, there's not really anything to get excited about.
Same as part one.
It's just like you're just like, okay, what was new? Like it's just and people say, oh, I want to see the Predator again, but I saw him. I have all the movies. I've watched it already.
Right.
And like, sorry, but that girl is just not believable. My uncle is Native, right? In 1700, I seriously doubt there'd be a Comanche female. I'm sorry, I got to be that guy, but it's not a realistic setting.
I believe it completely.
That's
like,
why I said,
how much
you wouldn't come out of the womb being progressive, right? Like, oh, I'm going to do this. And I think
it's not woke. It's not progressive. It's the fact of someone else is a hunter just like them.
Yeah, but I don't know. It didn't convince me. It didn't convince me. And if we took humanity 300 years in the past, a 300-year-old human should still get annihilated by a 300-year-old predator. They're way more advanced. Like their 300 years and our 300 years are not the same 300 years. Like, I don't know.
They're not, but it's the same exact thing. Then Arnold should have just gotten annihilated.
Well, he just barely won, right? Through his wits or whatever.
But
And-
like
and
even
Danny
you
Glover
saying like,
used
oh, she could have
technology.
took a few tumble, like
She didn't
Arnold
take any
took
damage.
only a little bit of damage as well.
But she didn't take any damage.
He barely took any damage in
Right,
Predator.
but that's Arnold Schwarzenegger versus her.
Yeah, I believe her over Arnold.
I mean that right. So that okay. So if you believe that's fine, but it's not exciting.
What do you mean Arnold never takes any damage? The Predator beats the shit out of him for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He like punches him in the face.
He
and
gets him a
spitting
few
blood.
punches,
He's
and then
choking
like
him.
she's agile. It's quick. It's all about dexterity. This is the classic thing in D&D: dexterity over the barbarian.
Right. Well, I don't know. Sean plays barbarian. He's pretty. But like, if they do the if they do the Predators versus the Cowboys, it's just going to be pedestrian again. It's like, oh, there's Cowboys and there's some asshole Cowboys and they get shot and then he'll come up with something at the end. It's like, okay, now we're going to do the samurai. It's like, okay, well then the samurai.
This is the problem with
like,
Predator in general.
cool
It's like you
things?
can't do anything else new with it.
Right. So you don't need to make any. Some movies are good. You could do the first couple and then it's done.
But the Predator almost ruined our chances of getting anything else.
And what we got wasn't that great. Like Predator 3 was still the best. Like, I mean, Predator 3 was still the best one out of these new ones or whatever. So I don't know. It's just like it's an okay movie. It's an okay movie. It's not a good Predator movie. How's that? It's an okay on its own, but it's not good because the Predator is a fantastic
Predator movie.
You just said he's weak. He's a weak Predator. I want to see a weak Predator. Dude, if this was not the Predator, 100%, I bet my entire movie collection that you would have not liked it. Guaranteed.
No, I still would have loved it because I would have seen some other badass thing fight a bear.
But that's one scene where he fights a bear. Like, okay, so that creature fought a bear. So then, they fought the aliens and the aliens and predators fought each other. If you want, like, the queen fought a predator. That's
the problem where they don't give us any lead up. Like, explain to us why this particular predator. Maybe this is the one they send down because we're like, we don't know what's on this planet. Send Steve. That's how I see what happened in One. We don't know anything about this. We see it. Maybe the fact that he never comes back, obviously. I'm going to do it, Nate. I'm doing it.
Coming back.
This was Multiplicity, Michael Keaton, that they sent that predator down. I told you I was going to do it.
Multiplicity jokes in 2022.
I'm doing it.
There's only like 13 people that get it.
He's like, I'm going to eat a dolphin. And they're like, no, you're going to hunt a dolphin. And I get to eat it. And I got a wallet. So that they don't give us enough information with these movies anymore.
But I don't need to be spoon-fed.
You didn't. J-Man did. So there should have been like
feeding. I want a concept that's going to be exciting, not dumbing it down. They keep dumbing these down. It's like,
okay, that's fair.
It's like, let's do a prequel to Star Trek. Let's do a prequel to Star Wars. No, move forward. Make the Predators prey even more formidable. Like, this is a movie that's supposed to be exciting. I don't want. It's like Alien 3. Oh, now there's just one alien. Oh, okay. Well, what did you want to do? Well, I wanted to have something cool happen. It's like, well, they have no weapons this time. It's like, but they know what the alien is. Like, it's just they keep downplaying it. Like, where's the cool thing? Like Predator 2 well, Sean, do your first, and then I'll do my first, which is Predator 2, and that'll tie into what I'm saying. So,
so anyway, kind of off tangents there, guys. Have you finished saying everything that?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Sean. Done messing up the stream, Nate.
Never.
So, unoriginal Predator is my number one. Look, I think I've seen Predator way, way, way more times than any of the other Predator movies. I understand popping in Predator 2 as a quick, fun thrill ride where stuff happens immediately, but I watch Predator randomly. I just love the whole movie itself. All the action in the beginning is a typical, like, it's like a canon movie. It's like, they go and they raid this. It's like something out of like a like one of the Delta Forces or something like that.
You're missing an action or something like that.
Yeah, and then you get this other thing, and it's a great creature feature, and it seems like it would be based on, like, it's like sort of like Alien is the terror from beyond space, basically. With this, you feel like there has to be some sort of movie it's kind of loosely based on because it's so primal, right? But no, it's its own thing. Where each guy gets picked off one by one, from the 30s to like through the 80s, Hollywood was just pumping out like iconic horror character after iconic horror character. I feel like Predator is the the last, like for a long time, the last great like iconic horror creature that we got, you know, until maybe The Ring, which isn't that much of an upgrade, but you know, because the Woman in the Ring is like, you know, copied and everything, but yeah, no, Predator was the last great, you know, iconic creature that we got. Everything about it seemed very like primal, iconic, original. It's better. Sorry, Nate. It's better than Prey. Prey to me is
everyone can be wrong. It's cool.
Yeah, to me, Prey
Especially
is
you.
lukewarm. This movie, you know, it's like just taking concepts from that and just saying, okay, well, we'll pigeonhole it with this other thing. Predator did it first. It's still entertaining. It's still awesome. So yeah, it's my number one.
Okay, G-Man.
So Predator 2 is my number one, but only if anyone says Predator 1 is better. I usually go with part 1. Usually, but to me this is like Friday 13th part 2. I kind of like part 2 better than part 1, but like Predator 2, it's like we sit down, we're like, okay, how are we going to top Predator? It's impossible. It's like, okay, hold on, let's make it the urban jungle. But then that's where they did not stop. Then they're like, let's have it with cops and stuff. Oh, but wait a minute, the cops have to be tougher. They can't just be like cops busting. Okay, well, they're fighting all these crazy ass gang members. Well, what kind of crazy ass gang members? Remember, these guys got to be tough. Okay, they're fighting these crazy Jamaican voodoo guys. Okay, and there's the Colombian drug lords. Oh my God. Okay, and then you start to think this movie is a great action movie without the Predator. You're like, I don't even need the Predator. This is so good. All the story, all King Willie, he could have been a main villain. You had that Colombian guy could have been a main villain. You're like, this almost works without the Predator. Then it's like, okay, now we throw the Predator in. That's not all, guys. That's not all. The government is onto him. What? Oh, they know what's going on with this Predator because they've been tracking him, because they know what Dutch told them. It's like, oh shit. So there's a whole team of special guys looking out for this creature. And you're like, oh, this is interesting. The whole movie shifts yet again, just like Predator 1. The first half is one thing. The second half is a completely another movie. You got 2 movies in Predator 1. You got 2 movies in Predator 2. Then the government's after him. But guess what? That's not it, guys. The Predator, oh, he can see in other spectrums. You thought you had the one up. You have. Oh, we've determined that this creature can only see in one spectrum of light. Wrong. When he changed his viewing, I was like, oh, shit. That's something new we hadn't seen. He's got advanced weaponry. Sure, it's a part 2. They always do it bigger and better, right? And it's like, well, how are we going to defeat the Predator this time? It's like, well, you know, Danny Glover's going to do it. Well, he better have, well, he'll use the Predator's own disc against. And I think the disc shuts down when the Predator dies. That's why he can't use it again in the end. I'm not 100% sure, but that might be what's going on there. But it's like, we got all of this extra stuff that is something more. It's like and then they're like, okay, guys, whoa, that was crazy. Wow, he killed that. It's like, oh, more Predators show up. You're like, and then there's an alien head. You're like, they literally took every idea and put it into this movie, and somehow it worked. And that's why after that, they started going down, because Predator 3 is really sort of like a mixture of one, a little bit of thing, you know, and they just started going down because the ideas went away. And that's for Predator 1 and 2 are the Predator movies that I always go to. They're the real Predator movies. This is why we're having this stream. This is why we're talking about anything. Predator 1, if there was no Predator 2, there would be no NECA toys. There'd be nothing, because it would have been a one-off creature that you would have been like, that was a cool movie. It's like The Burning. The Burning was a great horror movie. Where's the Cropsy toys? Yeah. Nowhere. Friday 13th continued because Jason and the hockey mask, thanks Canada, I was filmed part 3 in Canada. So without Predator 2, there's no NECA toys, right? Charlie doesn't have any of his toys, doesn't have anything. He's not wearing all this stuff. It's like, we're not having the stream without Predator
naked.
2. He's naked.
I'm picturing it right now.
Right. So normally I would say part 1, and part 1 is better because it starts it all. You have to give it to part 1. But my personal opinion of what I enjoy watching more is Predator 2 for all the reasons I outlined, because it's like Friday 13th 2. It's like, okay, there's some killings in part 1. The mom, I don't care about her. I want Jason. And then we're good, right? And that's sort of where I'm at with the Predators. But obviously Predator 1 is a masterpiece action movie with horror elements. So there you go.
Now, I honestly don't know. Maybe someone here does. Why did it take 20 years though to get a sequel, like a proper, like not counting AVP, like to go from Predator 2 to Predators, like because you had
disappointment. I think it was a bit of a flop, and nobody really liked it. Critics didn't like it at the time.
It killed the franchise. Yeah.
It's just so strange to me though, because like right after that, that's when we got the Super Nintendo Alien vs Predator game. That's when Dark Horse comics started to really go out, the novels. So like
Yeah,
the multimedia branching of it was successful. It just like it seems so strange that like in '98 or something we didn't at least get something.
I feel like studios didn't learn lessons back then, because the thing is, like nowadays, a studio would look at like all sorts of merchandise and say like, well, the last movie didn't do well, but all this merchandise does, so let's do another one.
Yeah,
back then they didn't think like that. They're like, the last movie didn't do well. I don't care that there's like a ton of comics that are making money for us. We're not going to do another movie. you know, and it's
always behind.
They're
always behind like decades, right? It's like, oh yeah, Predator, yeah, that was good. And then when they do Predator 3, they're like, oh, let's make it more like part 1 because that's what everyone likes. See, this is this part 3 thing with Indiana Jones 3. These part 3 movies always fall into this trap. It's like, well, the second one, Temple of Doom, people don't like it, even though it's awesome. It's like, let's make it like more like part 1. It's like, but now we've seen this already.
Yeah, like Alien vs. Predator was a franchise long before the movies.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I think the first comic was it had to be 89 or 90. I feel like it predates Predator 2. I could be wrong.
I was
wondering.
I don't
remember.
I was wondering about that.
But the figures were big through the 90s. The arcade game, it's like it's crazy, you know, like so. Yeah, and then finally the next decade we get those movies, and then after that we get Predator 3. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Blaine.
Oh boys, number one for a reason is Predator, man. I mean, obviously, I'm Blaine right now. I know every character in this movie. I know this movie scene by scene by scene. We had a conversation in the group not too long ago. Nate probably remembers this, where we had a discussion of what would you consider the greatest action movie ever? To me, it's an unanswerable question because there's too many variables. But if I had gun to my head, it's Predator. It is the perfect blend of action, horror, and sci-fi. It gives you everything. If you meet someone that went, I've never watched an action movie. First, I'm going to say bullshit. But 2, it's going to be, no, seriously. I have never watched any of these movies. Where do I start? We're watching Predator. You're going to see everything from the compound attack to these Greek gods of various sizes of men. They're not all, Dolph Lundgrens and Arnold Schwarzeneggers and Sylvester Stallones. They go all the way down to the lower grade guys, like, not that Paunch is a lower grade, but he's smaller than everyone, but he has a purpose to him. You have all of these characters that can stand out, like Jesse Ventura's character of Blaine stands just as high as Arnold's character is Dutch. They're just as iconic. Bill Duke shaving in the jungle dry is still one of the grossest things in the movie. Yeah. That's all there is to it. You will never be able to replicate what you experienced the first time you watch Predator. From the skinned bodies hanging from the tree that stopped Sonny Langdon in his steps, staring up at the tree, and you're like, what's got this guy rattled? And the camera pans up and you're like, holy fuck, those are skinned bodies just dripping down with vultures hanging out around them. Then you get the initial, the Predator in invisibility. Like, the fuck was that? What is that? Glowing eyes, blood glows. Everything is amazing about this. You're like, I've never seen this before. This is awesome. Then we get the fights that they just systematically 89, so it's really close to it. Damn, that makes sense. Yeah. The Predator's really hunting in this movie. He is really on he could have took out that entire village of whatever they are, the guerrilla fighters. He didn't. It was no sport in that. He could have eliminated all of them. He saw the perfect game come into his territory. He just annihilated a bunch, and he's like, okay, those guys were probably pretty fucking good. I want to see these guys. This guy looks a little bit bigger. These guys look a little bit more prepared. And they do that. He systematically takes everyone out. When Blaine's chest explodes is also one of the most shocking scenes in the movie. You're in love with this character. He carries a minigun. I don't have time to bleed. This whole thing about him. And then all of a sudden, holy fuck, he's dead. His chest is outwards. Just boom, gone. And then mowing down the jungle is the most iconic scene in action moviedom ever. It's just them. We don't know what we're shooting at. Go that way and just start blowing everything away. All the little throwbacks to all this stuff. You feel like you're watching this awesome action movie, then you get a horror movie of stalking, and it's an alien the whole time. Stallone, Schwarzenegger having to go back to primal.
That's the
basics.
alternate universe.
That's right. He was he was T2. It was his best movie ever.
Yeah.
But to where he has to go now primal, where it's like, I can't fight. I don't have any of my weapons. I can't do any of this. I've damaged him, but I don't have the upper hand. I got to go back to basics because he is using technology. Let's go against technology. And it works to disable him. But like J-Man said, does he win? Not really, because the Predator fucking laughs at him at the end of this movie and sets a bomb off like, I got a backup plan, bitch, and hits the thing and laughs at him and Sonny.
He's using Billy's laugh as well, just to mock him
using
even
Billy's
more.
laugh.
Yeah.
An actor that needed
Haunting.
a bodyguard on set, not for him against other people. It was for, to protect other people from him. That's why he had a bodyguard.
You're not
on
locked
set.
in here with me,
Exactly, that whole thing. That's Sonny Langdon in the 80s.
But in a jungle.
Yeah, but this is the movie. It's like I immediately let my son watch this movie. This is the most iconic thing, and it really is the epitome of action movies. This gives you everything. Like, we've talked about, it's 2 movies in one. It really is. It's a canon action movie going right into a horror sci-fi movie, and it does it flawlessly. Character design, there's no other character. Even the xenomorph, as amazing as it is, I don't think still holds a candle to the Predator.
It's not cool. The Predator is cool. Like, I kind of root for the Predator sometimes.
Right.
That's the thing. You're just like,
I like the xenomorph. Sorry, aliens. My top.
But
top
it's like
11
when I
movies.
see the Predator, I'm still like always trying to take in the aesthetic of him. There's always a time I'm like, fuck, I didn't realize he was wearing.
Yeah, there's
that.
always something on his like outfit. You're like, wait, is that what I think it is?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And then they changed it up. Then you're like, oh, this isn't like a universal uniform. You guys decorate it, yourselves. You guys make it your own. And that's amazing. It's not that the alien inhabited another creature and it became a predalien or a rhinoceros alien or whatever the fuck happened in Prometheus or all this other shit. We just get these different predators. They're like people. They're all just different. There's possible races. It opened up this entire genre, and that's where number 2 comes in even more, which is why it's kind of even. But like you said, we can't have 2 without 1. We can't have Prey without 1. We can't have anything without the original Predator. And nostalgia, you can say, well, I can't watch a movie and go against nostalgia. There's nothing exists without this movie, and nostalgia will win every day. Predator's number 1.
Right.
That whole come at me, bro moment the Predator does.
You know who I am?
And then Arnold does, like Owen said, like Arnold does it too. Just yells from the treetops with a torch in his hand, covered in mud. It's like my fig arts. I loved this thing when it came out. The Predator's awesome looking. Look at the bottom. Arnold's hiding in the mud.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah. I didn't know that when I bought it. I'm just sitting here going, man, this Predator's badass. Oh, look at the awesome skulls. It's that fucking Dutch. Fucking Dutch is hiding in the mud. And I, like J-Man, I have the toys everywhere. I couldn't get them all out. We'd be here another hour, but I have the Kenners. I have the NECAs. I have all of these things. It has just been iconic in my childhood and my adulthood. Period. I quote this movie. I live this movie. I can watch it any freaking time. And it's always Predator 1, Predator 2. Predator 1, Predator 2. There is no, which one's better? Watch them both.
Yeah.
Well, what?
I have to watch them both. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you can only pick one. Then it has to be Predator 1 if you're going to put a gun to my head. But
Predator 2 has nudity. So
yeah.
Not wrong. Well, I mean, is no skin nudity? I don't know.
It's a very weird category on Pornhub, but it's there.
Well, I thought Julia in Hellraiser 2 was like attractive.
Yeah.
Okay,
Not
so John, who couldn't make it tonight, he has his top 7. So number 7 is The Predator. That's good. Number 6, AVP. Number 5, AVPR. Number 4 is Predators. Interesting. Number 3, Predator 2. Number 2, Prey. Number 1, Predator.
Damn. I was not expecting that from John.
No, that was I.
That's kind of wild.
So
Nate's like, why couldn't he be on the show tonight?
Right? Why isn't my buddy on the show?
I want to give an honorable mention to, it's not an official Predator movie, it's a fan film, but if anybody's seen Predator Dark Ages, it's awesome. It's about 25, 26 minutes long, and it has the Knights Templar to team up with one of the Saracens in the English forest, I think, somewhere taking on the Predator. And it's an awesome movie. It still has the music and everything, and it just works really well. So it's on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Definitely worth seeing. Yeah. So also,
I forgot you sent that over. I gotta check that out.
Oh, it's all right. Wait, bunches of yes, it is. Oh yeah, shit. Sorry, Derry Face, I forgot to respond. Yeah, it's the background. We have like the whole cast all in the background there.
I told Owen I had to stay there because I'm wearing camo pants, so it works. Now I'm standing up the whole time.
Batman Dead End. That's quality too.
Cool,
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, that was cool. I've seen that a few years ago.
Predator fought Batman too, so I mean, that goes along.
That's Batman.
Written by the guy that did the illustrations for Watchmen, which is mind blowing to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you my troll story then about Instagram the other day, which is hilarious. It was after my review for Prey, and then he's like, I think it was my review for Police Story Lockdown. And I did that, but he commented on that about Prey, and he's like, "How could you only give Prey 3.5 stars or something?" He says, "You have no credibility," and in capital letters, "unfollowing." And I responded back with, "Well, you'll be sadly missed, whoever you are," because it's like some prick, 0 posts. No name. It's just a troll with too much time.
Junk account.
But whenever it's like, you have no credibility, and I was like, have I ever said that I have any credibility whatsoever? No, and I don't want credibility. I do this for me, and only me. Is like, whenever I stop enjoying doing this, I will stop doing it.
We're not critics here, man.
No, this is a fun thing. So a special message to that person on Instagram.
Fuck you.
Twice.
That's right.
Trash opinions.
He's still in the group as his real account. That was just the one he talks through. Yeah.
Probably. Oh yeah.
That's how it works, man. Hey.
Oh yeah, I know. So you can keep an eye on everyone. There's just people like that.
Are they going to talk about me tonight?
Yeah, bitch, we are. But it's like, what kind of a loser has that kind of time though to think, oh wait a minute, I'm going to leave a negative comment. Like, if you don't care, just unfollow. But it's like they have to make the point. It's like, I have to make this point. I'm like, nobody cares. So anyway, anybody have anything else Predator related you want to talk about, or does anybody else need to pee as badly as I do?
Yeah, I've got it on my boarding pass.
All right,
I've said my piece, man. Like I said, Predators, all of the movies, everyone needs to watch them at least once.
Yeah,
because if you've never,
one thing.
Yeah, we can tell you not to watch the AVP movies, but you're never going to understand why you shouldn't have watched it if you don't watch
you know
it.
What? I still watch them. I actually watch all of them. The one which I've watched the least is The Predator, but whenever I watched it last week, I was like, you know what, even in this one, despite being terrible, I still enjoyed it just for being a silly action comedy. I can find something to enjoy in most movies. It's very little when I'll watch a movie and I'll be like, I hate everything about this movie. I can't watch it. I can sit through most things.
I can watch the Requiem kill on YouTube clips, so I don't need to sit.
That's
through the
true.
whole
You
movie
just watch like
just to watch Wolf
edited.
pin her up against the wall.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm good. I watched it technically.
I think two people seem to sometimes miss this, and this is how I am. Is that there's my ranking, which is what I use for my ranking system, but that doesn't mean anything. Like, I can admit that movies I love have many flaws, but that doesn't matter to me. Like, I love watching the movie, so there's my ranking. Then that's why, in this case, Predator 2, like the ranking, maybe Predator 1 beats Predator 2 in a ranking situation if we did a space, but I like Predator 2 more. So that's how I can give whatever, like I gave the Batman we mentioned already. I gave it.
We're got it out of the way. It's fine. You can talk.
We got it out of the way, and I've watched that like 3 or 4 times, right? And I made fun of it.
You sat through it 4 times?
Yeah, I've sat through
I've done it twice.
I'm on my third. I'm on my third with it.
I still gotta watch it again.
And I bought all the toys, and then I complain about it and say how trash it is.
Fuck this movie. Buy this.
And then I bought everything, right? So it's like, I can separate my critical thinking brain from my university classes to like, okay, I just like this movie, it's fun, so.
Well, to your point, there's plenty of movies that are shit that we love,
right.
And they're not quantifiable. Why do you love it? I can't explain it. I just fucking love this movie. I don't even want to break down why I like it. I just do. Yeah, that's exactly it.
So why'd you like us? Because.
Yeah. So Nate, you're totally justified. I fixed
I know
it
I'm
for
right.
you.
Except for Prey.
I was going to add one more thing about
Except for Prey, that one, no.
I'm still right. The Predator universe, the Predator game that came out on PlayStation a couple years back is fantastic.
Oh, Urban Jungle, Concrete Jungle.
So Concrete Jungle was the one that came out on PS2 and the original Xbox. There's one that came out on PS4 that I just got to play for the first time a couple of weeks ago, where it's 4 of you are on the same team. You have to go and complete a mission against AI, but there's one guy that is the Predator stalking in the trees.
Oh, cool.
And it's awesome. It is intense. It's a lot of fun because there's moments where I'm just shooting up in the air because I can't tell. You can hear him. You can vaguely tell where he's at, and it's probably the closest to having like a Predator experience to play.
Is that the one with Arnold where he does the voice as Old Man Dutch?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I
got
really
him to
bought
do
a
a skin
just for that. And then it was like, oh no, it has to be multiplayer. And I was like, oh, I don't like playing multiplayer.
Yeah, like you can play it with the AI, but the bots are terrible. But like,
I mean, I can indiscriminately just shoot into the jungle. I'm in. That's all I need to know.
I also got some comic. I have a comic. I have a bunch, but
yeah, I've got stacks of them. Man.
Yeah, there's a brand new one from Marvel just this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Marvel's got it.
It's okay.
That's because Sean paid. Because Sean paid for it.
I bought
it, so I didn't pay for it. So I can give you the real opinion. It's trash.
For those that don't know, Predators has a prequel comic that explains like the guy that ended up on the planet.
Oh, really?
I
didn't know
that's right. I forgot about that, but I've never read it. I must get it. Yeah.
So you can pick that up.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of like shit here, which sometimes I forget. I got some Conan comics here, J-Man.
A tease for something later.
Yeah. So Conan and the Demons of Katai. Do you have?
I have that entire series.
So do I. Yeah. You're not better than me. I have it.
Don't make me count my comic.
J-Man's like, I've got it in the omnibus. It's signed by the author, signed by the inker. And I didn't use one comic. I bought a separate comic for each of them to sign. So I have 27 of that one.
Oh God. And I do stuff like that. So don't, I know you're joking, but I do stuff like that.
Damn it, man. I was just having fun with you.
No, that's not.
Okay. I was gonna say, yeah, so maybe not next week. You need to see. It might be I think actually the week after. We'll do the Conan one, and we'll talk Conan the Destroyer, and then Conan the remake, which we all know is the better film.
I'm with him on that. The remake's a blast.
Jason Momoa himself
versus the world.
Well, Jason Momoa himself recently said it sucked.
Shit, a piece of shit. I know.
The director agreed with it.
Yeah.
Jason
I don't know
Momoa,
what movie they watch. It's so much blood.
Like Jason Momoa's outline and physical appearance in that movie is exactly the Robert E. Howard Conan.
Oh, it is.
Physical appearance and but the rest of the movie is awful. Like he himself, if you could remove him and put him in a better written, like when I saw him cast and I saw the pictures, I bought all the posters. I was like, this guy looks like Conan. This is very exciting because Schwarzenegger was a bit too big. We'll get to it on the Conan thing.
We'll get into that. Now, the funny thing was today we were just talking about that, and then someone shared like, we love Momoa as Aquaman, but he really should have been this guy, and they showed a picture of Lobo from DC, and I'm like, Momoa should have been Lobo 100%.
That was the Rob Liefeld thing where he was like, oh, it's basically Beasley's art. It's like he's Beasley's art. Yeah. So anyway,
the funny thing was about the Conan remake was like literally someone would like fall over and then the blood would go. It was just like so much. It's like
CGI blood, baby.
Like cutting that dude's nose off and then like pushing his finger through. It was like, yeah.
I know.
It was slimy. Yeah, and it had Ron Perlman in it too. So I mean, it's not all bad.
I'm gonna watch them all because it's been a few years since I've watched any of them. So we'll do that in a couple of weeks. I might do one next week. We'll see how we get on. see if I do. But for the outro here, there's nothing wrong with your computer. I have just edited the scene from Predator to make him more terrifying than he has ever been before. So thanks everyone for watching, and thanks for joining us tonight, Nate. And
thank you for having me.
All right, and if you're all watching, you are the Action Elite. Prepare to be terrified.